Well, after what has happened down in Texas this afternoon, the Mariners will have to wait for another year to hang another banner from the rafters of Safeco Field. However, they have a shot at sweeping the club that will probably be the American League Western Division champions, because it's the third game of the three-game series between the Mariners and the Oakland Athletics, and the Mariners have won the first two. And to you all, a very pleasant good afternoon as we check on what happened down in Texas. Garrett Anderson in the fifth inning hit a three-run home run, and that got the Mariners the lead that they never gave up. The Mariners had to sit here and watch all the pain happen down there. Tim Salmon also had another home run, and in the end, it was a Texas Ranger outfielder Kevin Mentz that came up and hit a high fly ball to center field. And as the catch was made, why, it was official. The Angels had qualified for the postseasons, and the Mariners had been shut out from the postseason for the first time in 3 years. So as you look at the standings, Oakland, their magic number is 1. If they win, they will be the Western Division champions. The Mariners 4.5 back with only 4 games to play, including this one, and 3 down in Anaheim over the weekend. Very pleasant good afternoon. How are you? Dave Niehaus along with Ron Fairley. When it all started and you came down from the high of last year, 116 game win season, Red, something that hadn't been done in almost 100 years, 96 years. You sit and think, well, you know, what's going to happen this year? And then you get off to that 10-game road winning streak and you think, hey, maybe this is going to be another one of those years. Realistically, you knew it wasn't. But when you take this season to the 159th game before you are eliminated, and you still have your second best record in your 26-year history, you can't complain a heck of a lot.
No, you can't. 92 wins for the Mariners this year. As Dave just mentioned, it was the second most in the franchise history. And if they come up with one more win, they will have won 300 games in the last 3 years. And there have been very few teams that have been able to accomplish that.
Again, when it all started, Lou said, give me 95 victories, and I'll let everybody take a shot at me. Had that been the case, they would have hit the mark, because 95 victories wasn't going to win it this year.
Wasn't going to win it. You just had to happen to have a season where two teams in your division had tremendous seasons, the A's and the Anaheim Angels, and our congratulations to both teams.
Absolutely. We congratulate the Angels. We congratulate the Oakland A's, and as they head off into postseason beginning next week in New York and probably in Oakland. Oakland will be hosting the Minnesota Twins. What an afternoon we have here for the finale. It is beautiful. An all-time record crowd will attend this afternoon. Over 3.5 million fans will have hit the turnstiles here at Safeco Field for a new record. We thank you all. We'll be back and have a look at this afternoon's starting lineups right after this timeout. Safeco Field, the Mariners looking for their 49th win here at home this year. They've already won 92 games, but it is also the day that their fate was decided down in Dallas, Texas, with an Angel win over the Texas Rangers. They go after the sweep of the Oakland Athletics. Let's look quickly at the lineups, Red.
All right, the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for the Oakland A's this afternoon. It'll be Durham, Hatterberg, Tejada, Chavez, Dive, Mabry, Ellis, Long, and then Hernandez. Scott Hatterberg last night, a 2-run home run, and will be going against Joel Pinheiro here this afternoon. Having a breakthrough season, boys, he developed into a solid major league pitcher, and of course he has that exceptionally good curveball.
Yes, indeed. The year 2002 will be remembered as the year of Joel Pinheiro becoming one of the top pitchers in the league. I think that will be rather evident. The first pitch is a little low and inside, and we are underway as Tim McClellan is the man calling balls and strikes, and there's a bunt foul down the third baseline. 70 degrees, a perfect afternoon. The wind calm here this afternoon, and the sun has peeked out from behind the clouds to present us with a lovely afternoon. Mariners head for the airport and close out the campaign in Anaheim with games tomorrow night, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon. Up in his eyes, got away with a mistake that time, a ball and 2 strikes on Ray Durham.
You know, even when Durham was with the Chicago White Sox, Mariners had to keep this guy off the bases. He was a catalyst for this ball club, has done a great job. He's hit a half-a-dozen home runs since coming over to the A's.
Inside, And the count 2-2 on Durham. The A's close out the regular season down in Texas over the weekend. And then with one more win, of course, they will annex the Western Division Championship and or an Angel loss. So it's inevitable that they are going to be crowned the new Western Division champion. So what they will do probably will head home and host the Twins. Swing and a miss. Although that is not really dyed in the wool either, because the Yankees only one more win than they have. But they would be hosting the first round. What they want to do is have a better record than the Yankees, of course, to be able to have the home field advantage all the way through the playoffs. To do that, they'll have to beat New York. Strike on the outside corner. If they were to tie with New York with this same record and it got down to home and home American League Championship venue, it would go to New York because New York won the season series 5-4. Yes, 5-4 over Oakland. Art Howe, congratulations to him. Another great year. After a 102 win last year, he's going to have another 100 win season this year. As Red mentioned, the Mariners one victory away from 300 wins in 3 straight years. Hatteberg with the count 1-2, and the curve. See you later, right on the outside corner.
Well, we said that Joel, with that devastating curveball, he got Ray Durham and then comes back and gets Hatteberg. That one on the outside edge of the plate. Boy, that was in a great location. When you have that good of a curveball, a lot of times if you can just get it into the strike zone is a bonus. But boy, I tell you, that time he hit it on the outside part of the plate.
Miguel Tejada taking high and outside, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Everybody talking about Tejada being one of the top MVP candidates this year, and he probably will be, but he has been struggling lately. And it's inside. 2-1 the count. Remember, that consideration is supposed to end. The balloting is supposed to begin as of the final game of the year. Postseason doesn't count in MVP balloting. Swing and a miss. And as I mentioned, lately Tejada has been struggling, only hitting .188 in his last 16 games. So when the votes count, he's going the wrong way. When he wants to open some eyes, he's not. Alex Rodriguez continues to hammer the baseball, hitting his 57th home run last night, and he has 3 more games against these A's. So you'll have probably the top 2 vote getters in the MVP balloting going against each other in the final 3 days down in Texas. Full count on Miguel. A little high.
And Dave, just a little sidebar to what you were just talking about. I'll guarantee each team's pitching staff is going to really bear down. The A's are going to bear down to Alex, and the Texas Rangers can do what they can to get Tejada out just to make their guy look a little bit better.
Eric Chavez completing the finest year of his young career, taking a strike. 0-1 the count. 34 home runs, a new career high, 107 RBIs. Again, another top candidate for another Gold Glove at third base. Nice easy 2-hopper for Boone to grab it and throw him out. And here in the first inning, Miguel Tejada's left over at first base. The A's do not get a hit, so the Mariners will come up against Corey Lytle. We'll head to the bottom of the first. No score after this from Southwest Airlines.
Beautiful day here at Safeco Field as Joel Pinheiro had little trouble getting The A's out in the top half of the first inning. Let's take a look at the Mariners Southwest Airlines starting lineup. It'll be Ichiro, Bloomquist, Martinez, Olerud, Boone, Cameron, Guillen, Wilson, and then Relaford. Down the mound is Corey Lytle. You take a look at Brett Boone. He has 5 hits his last 6 at bats. Out there in the mound is Corey Lytle. And Lytle with a record of 8-10. He's not overpowering. Excellent control. Only 1.8 base on balls per 9 innings. So that kind of pitcher out there, you have to be patient up there at the plate.
So Corey Lytle will be facing Ichiro. And missing outside. Ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Ichiro, a 6-game hitting streak. 203 hits again this year. And that ball hit deep to right field and stopping in his tracks to pick it up and make the catch, Jermaine Dye. So 1 down. Ichiro, by the way, will be playing for the Major League All-Stars when they play a series of exhibition games in Japan in early November, some 8 games. Willie Bloomquist, who's been torrid, takes a strike. Willie with 7 hits in his last 9 at bats. 1-1. One around. Yep. First base umpire Ed Rapuano. So Willie down on his slider.
Take a look at the season numbers for Corey Lytle. 8-10 ERA at 3.96 in the 29 starts for him. A couple of complete games and opponents only hitting .261. Really had a great stretch here not long ago. Had a streak of 32 consecutive scoreless innings before that was snapped there in Kansas City. So he has really come on strong here the second half of the season.
Edgar Martinez, a story in today's Seattle Times by national writer Larry Stone about the possibility of this being Edgar's last home game in a Mariner uniform if the things don't work out correctly. I talked to him on a pregame radio show and asked him about that, and he said, well, he hoped things did work out because he wants to play another year and he wants to play with the Seattle Mariners. And I said, well, you know, if that was not the possibility, would you be in another uniform next year? He said, I don't know. I'd have to talk to my wife about that.
I think Edgar would be very uncomfortable wearing any other uniform.
Three and one. It might depend on how much they pay you for your discomfort.
Well, I don't think Edgar needs any money.
No. 3-1 pitch is hit foul down the right field line and off the auxiliary scoreboard.
But I've been around so many players where they have said, you know what, I just don't feel comfortable wearing the uniform I'm wearing right now, and I would like to be able to play for some other team. Edgar should always go down as a Mariner, period.
Curveball just misses outside to him. In reality, and I gave the nickname Mr. Mariner to Alvin Davis because of his amity, because of his friendship, not because of his personal friendship with me, but because of just being an all-around good guy and because of his career with the Mariners. Just a personified Major League ball player, I thought, to the nth degree. And in reality, that man right there probably is the true Mr. Mariner until something else better comes along. And I don't think anything will ever come along any better than Edgar Martinez.
Well, day in and day out, grinding out hits and doubles and home runs and all the things that he has done over the years. Boy, I tell you what, that takes a lot of dedication, and he's been a dandy.
30 hits away from 2,000 in his career. Two strikes on John Olerud. Olerud already with his 4th year of driving in 100 or more runs in his career. Breaking ball down low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It remains to be seen what Mike Scioscia will do with his pitching rotation for the weekend games with the Mariners. Jared Washburn was scheduled to work tomorrow. His ace. And we'll see if that's going to still be the case with the Angels now having eliminated the Mariners from postseason consideration. Broken bat, base hit, right back through the middle.
Dave, I don't think they're going to do much with it. I would imagine that Washburn is going to maybe work a game. He may only pitch a couple of innings, but just like a tune-up before opening up the playoffs. I think something along those lines. Here's the base hit by Olerud. A little jam shot, broken bat base hit just beyond the reach that time of Corey Lytle. That ball shot by him before he get his hand up.
May have gone off his forearm. Grazed it as Brett Boone will step up to the plate. Boone's been on a tear since the All-Star game. You know that. All the way to the backstop, and everybody moves up 90 feet. A wild pitch charge to Corey Lytle.
For a guy that has great control, you don't really expect that out of Corey Lytle. As we said, 1.86 base on balls per 9 innings. That is his 6th wild pitch this year.
Boone hitting .348 since the All-Star break. Fastball got in on him just enough. He popped it up. And moving over is Jermaine Dye to make the catch, and the Mariners leave 2 out there in scoring position here in the first. When we come back, Dye, Mabry, and Ellis. No score after 1. Today's game, be sure to log on to SeattleMariners.com for game recap coverage and the complete Mariners Insider. You can also cast your ballot for your top 5 memorable moments in Major League Baseball history, which will be unveiled during the World Series next month. SeattleMariners.com, your source for news, stats, schedule information, and more. Shouldn't be too long before next year's schedule will be made public, will appear. I see where the Pirates have already announced their schedule for next year, and the Red Sox will be visiting Pittsburgh for the first time since the World Series. They're back in the early 1900s, I believe 1916, something like that. Jermaine Dye takes a ball, and the next pitch is a strike, a fastball across the letters. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and 2. Looney's going to throw it to Pinheiro, covering nicely.
See that John Olerud going after that ground ball. You like to have your first baseman go after the ball. Pitcher's got to cover first base anyway. And there are times when, even though I think Olerud could have caught that ball, it would have been an easier play for Boone to make the play with the pitcher. But it's good to see the first baseman go after the ball. You'd rather have him go after the ball than to not go after the ball and have it go through for a base hit. Like we said, the pitcher has to cover anyway.
Well, here's Mabry, who drew a pretty lucky card when he got traded to Oakland in the Jeremy Giambi deal from the Phillies, and now finds himself in the postseason, taking a strike on the inside corner. And John will be a free agent at the end of the year. It'll be interesting to see if there's some interest in a John Mabry as a free agent. And he just stands there and looks at a strike right on the inside corner. What a pitch. 91-mile-an-hour fastball.
Think he might have been looking for that curveball from Pinheiro. Tell you what, one pitch complements the other, and it's all set up by that curveball. If Pinheiro can get the curveball over, it's going to be lodged in the mind of the hitter. He's going to have that in the back of his mind. So now when he throws the fastball, it looks like it's about 10 miles an hour faster.
Mark Ellis, the fastball, a strike at the knees, 0-1. And that curve down low to him. Again, Pinheiro with that good moving fastball at the knees. 2-2. Foul back. Pinheiro from Puerto Rico. Of course, Edgar Martinez from Puerto Rico. In our pregame chat with Edgar on the radio, we're talking about what we read in the paper about a group interested in buying Montreal and moving it to Puerto Rico. Of course, the only major city in Puerto Rico is San Juan. And that ball hit foul deep, well back into the stands. Would have had home run depth. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And I asked him Edgar what he thought about having Major League Baseball in Puerto Rico, and he said he thought it would go. He says it's an island of about 6 million people, and of course it's obviously the national pastime there. And it'd be interesting to. This is for the 2004 season they're talking about. Renovate the stadium they have there in San Juan, and it's about a 2-hour flight from the East Coast to San Juan. Breaking ball down low and outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And of course, there's one of Puerto Rico's native sons, and best known right there. Towering high fly ball, and Cameron will make the catch, and that will retire the side here in the second. 1, 2, 3. When we come back, Cameron, Guillen, and Dan Wilson, no score. Sends a line drive base hit into left field on the first pitch, starting it off here in the second inning. Speaking of the Vikings, who are here this weekend, Bill and Angie are going to keep an eye on what's happening with Randy Moss and that mess there with the Vikings, the latest from the Twin Cities. Plus, we'll have all your Seahawks news tonight at 10 on the Northwest Sports Report. Carlos Guillen. Hitting .266. There goes Cammy, and the pitch is dropped. So an easy stolen base, like Cameron's 31st stolen base.
Cameron now leads the team in stolen bases. There's the jump that he gets. Now with 31, he had 34 stolen bases last year.
You know, Red, in talking about Puerto Rico and the possibility of a group that's trying to buy Montreal and move it to feasibility of moving it to Puerto Rico. I always thought that when baseball expanded to the Caribbean or to Latin America, it would probably always be Mexico City. One of the largest cities in the world.
Yeah.
So that makes it rather intriguing, San Juan.
Well, it does. It does. Obviously, they'd have to do something with that stadium down there.
Yeah, I've been in that stadium. It's I'll say one thing, there are some great baseball fans there.
Oh, there's some fanatic baseball fans down there. Yes, indeed, they love their baseball.
Roberto Clemente, the first great Puerto Rican star in the major leagues.
Just wonder what that would do, though, to the winter ball that they play down there.
And that's a foul ball. Man, that was close.
Just missing, going over the third base bag. Jerry Davis right on top of the call, gets a good look at. Here's see what you think right here. Did that ball go over the bag? Did it go over the corner of the bag? He said no.
Full count on Carlos Guillen. Did he go? Yeah, he did. Ted McClellan called him out as he went around on the pitch. So that's the second strikeout for Corey Lytle. This is our last broadcast of the year here in Seattle, of course. It's always good to get home, not only for the purpose of just getting home, but getting to see some familiar faces that work with us for, what, 70 games or so during the course of the year here and on the television side. And it's always tough to say goodbye to them for 6 months before we hook up again in spring training with a lot of them. Breaking ball swung on and a high fly ball hit into right center field, and an easy catch for Jermaine Dye. And heading to third base and not making it is Mike Cameron. So Cameron made the third out at third base, and that is something that's a cardinal sin in baseball. Whether the first or the last out at third, but it's made here. No score as we go to the third. Closing day here in Seattle, and he's out to the ballpark to see the final game here in 2002, and we hope that he is back on opening night 2003. We mentioned all the guys that work with us here at home, and also the guys that not only work with us at home, that are with us all year long. Our traveling crew, for example, Bob Bronner, Steve Linger, Mike Wilson, Paul Butis, the original Walla Walla Onion. Paul, nice to have him with us all year long, and Jeremy Wilson. Our guys in the booth, Rob Nielsen is always a special guy. He's been with me for 23 years, he informs me, here on Mariner Television, as Terrence Long takes a strike on the outside corner. He's followed me around to all these different channels, finally ending up.
There he is.
Robbie, nice to have you with us again. Gonna miss you again this winter. We'll see you in the spring. Down low and inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Mark Eiler, Gary Greth, Mike Krabushian, Ed Smith, Mark Willison, all working with us here in the booth throughout the campaign. There's none better than you guys, and we appreciate your dedication all year long. Swinging a ground ball up the first baseline, foul. A ball and 2 strikes on Terrence Long, the count.
Yeah, all those guys pitch in, and they make it a lot easier for us here in the booth. And believe me, we appreciate the work you guys go through.
Right back to the legs of the pitcher, and Pinheiro lets it go on through where Guillen can grab it easily and throw out Terrence Long. This weekend, of course, the Mariners are going to be down south in Anaheim to wrap up the season. That doesn't mean you can't get your Safeco Field fix, however. Just come on by the Safeco Field Gold pregame party presented by Cloverdale Meats before this Sunday's Seahawk game. You can join 94.1 KMPS and 102.5 KZOK for food and drinks. There's going to be music out there, all kinds of games, a chance to hang out in the Mariners bullpen, and for kids to run around the Safeco Field bases. Gates will be open at 2:30 Sunday afternoon. Ramon Hernandez. He kind of like the steady rock behind the plate for the A's all year long. Done a great job. That batting average does not equate to how valuable he is to this team. 0-2 the count to him.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right about that. He's the guy that we always talk about the A's pitching. Well, he's the guy that understands the A's pitching better than anybody else, and he knows how to call a good game.
So 2 down here in the 3rd inning, and Ray Durham moves the strikeout victim in the first. Beat a hitter. That's the 4th strikeout for Joel Pinheiro. Joel's final start of the year, and boy, what a great year it would be when you consider that he started in the bullpen. If he could win this and get credit for the W and win his 15th game. Freddie Garcia will be going for number 17 tomorrow night. All in all, it's been a heck of a year. I mean, 92 victories, and still, what, 3 games to go after this one. That guy right there on your right, Ryan Franklin, figures to be so much a part of the rotation next year. Freddie's going to be wearing that stinky old cap again tomorrow night. I'm sure you want to see that thing again.
But Dave, you get back into spring training, the start of the season, Lou was, you know, who's going to be the 5th starter, Ryan Franklin or Joel Pinheiro? And next year, I think they're both going to be in that starting rotation.
That man will be back with his trusted lieutenant there in the foreground. Nice pitching coach. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count on Ray Durham. Off the handle of the bat, back into the lower deck.
First time up, Durham struck out on a curveball. Now he's down to a 2-2 count. He just fought that one off. Change up low.
Curveball, and that's going to be the first base hit of the ball game for the A's on a hop. It'll go over and back into the stands. A ground rule double for Ray Durham.
Sign of a pretty good hitter. Making out on the particular pitch the first time up. Next time up, you just about know you're going to get that pitch again. And this time jumped on it. That's good hitting that time by Ray Durham.
Scott Hatteberg has had a good series. 4 for 9 in the series. Hatteberg, those years with the Red Sox, and the Red Sox again turned aside. They were eliminated a couple of nights ago when they lost to the White Sox. And Hatteberg finally going to make the postseason in an A's uniform. 1 ball, 1 strike. Joe Torre has not named his starter in game 1 of the American League Division Series against, we assume it's going to be the Angels. Two and one.
Take a look at these numbers on Joel, brought to you by Lowe's Improving Home Improvement. His last start, well, it wasn't very good, but his previous 11 starts, yeah, he had it going pretty good. 7-2 with a 2.43 ERA.
You're not going to have a good start every time you go out there. You might talk to Kurt Schilling about that last night. Talk to Randy Johnson. Even he is vulnerable from time to time. The good pitchers win consistently because they win without their best stuff most of the time. It's easy to win with your best stuff all the time.
Well, if you can't win then, when are you going to win?
In the dirt. And it gets by the catcher Wilson, a wild pitch. So Durham moves on down to third.
If you were to ask a pitcher, you're going to say start 35 games a year. How many times do you go out there with your really good stuff? And they're probably going to tell you 10,
all right, I was going to
11 times, yeah, and that'd be about it.
Full count. There's Durham at third. Misses with a changeup, low and outside. So that's the second walk given up by Joel. And here's the recipient of the first one, Miggy Tejada.
Leading RBI man for the A's against Mariner pitching this year. He's driven in 13 runs. Had a very good second half of the season. 16 home runs, 66 runs driven in. Thought the at bat that he had last night against Moyer was very interesting. I mean, Jamie is not overpowering, and yet Jamie threw about 4 or 5 pitches in a row right in on his belt, fastballs right in on his hands. And that last one, I mean, it hit below the trademark. It broke the bat in half.
2 strikes on him.
See that Pinero's trying to come in there. You pitch this guy out over the plate. He is so strong. He's not real tall, but he is strong.
Tejada has this game and 3 more to get 3 hits to give him 200 on the year. Already has the all-time A's record. There's a ground ball right to the shortstop and Guillen. An easy play over to get the force on Hatteberg. 6-4, no runs, a hit, and 2 are left to the bottom of the third. No score. No prettier view in baseball than that one right there from out over Elliott Bay from Safeco Field. 5 days away from October as sports' biggest month is going to come to Fox. Baseball's Division Series kicks off with up to 125 hours of October's magical matchups with thrilling NFL showdowns and exciting baseball playoff action. No other network will broadcast more sports in a single month this year. The magical matchups begin in 5 days only on Fox. Desi Relaford with the count even on him now at a ball and a strike. On the outside corner. 1-2. It really is the most special time of the year if you're a baseball fan and football fan. You hate to see teams eliminated during the playoffs because you only get 1 game a day instead of 2. You know it's true. At least it is in my household. Until you finally get to the Fall Classic. And then when the final out is made in the World Series, hey, my gosh, How long is it till spring training? Or at least that's what my wife says.
Right after the first of the year, Charlie, don't you have somewhere to go?
Yeah, right. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count on Desi Relaford. You knew he was going to get that in the hip, and he could feel it. He's got a hurt where there is no hurt right now.
I know it. There for a few seconds, he did everything but say ouch.
An original draftee of the Mariners, went away for several years, came back, of course, and has made such an impact with the Mariners this year. And a ground ball hit to the first baseman. Hatterberg takes it to the bag easy. So 1 away, and here is Ichiro. A little outside. The change, but it's way low and inside. Ball 2, 2-0. Ichiro, a fly ball into the left center field area. Maybe 22. And with that, the Mariners go over $3.54 million, which is not only a new club record, it leads the major leagues. They were at $3.51 million last year. And both those numbers rank in Major League Baseball's all-time top 20. You, my friends here in the Northwest, are to be congratulated. Look at that great crowd here today. Again, 45,822. The Mariners end up with 3,540,658. Unbelievable. And we hope to see each and every one of you and more of you out here next year.
Great place to spend the summer.
Curve. As I let those numbers roll off my tongue, I can't help but think all those years over across the street, not only when the Mariners struggled, but how many times every year reporters would ask me, do you think baseball will ever make it in Seattle? 2 balls and 2 strikes. Not once did I ever doubt that. And you have proven me more than correct by putting this franchise not over the top, but making it really the top franchise in baseball right now. Story on the Mariners ratings on Fox Sports Net about how the Mariners remain the top-rated Major League Baseball team in the country, with the defending Arizona Diamondbacks coming in second. Three and 2 the count. And it's hit foul by Willie down the right field line. The 2002 combined season average for all local Major League Baseball telecasts on Fox Sports Net regionals is 3.88. This is just some inside information for you people, meaning that our broadcast, the Mariners telecast, average 251% better than the combined local average. That's unbelievable. There's a chopper back down the third base line, and it's picked up by the pitcher, and Corey Lytle throws him out. So again, we thank you. We thank you for your support in person. We thank you for your support as we know that you are with us every day on television also. 3 up and 3 down, no score after 3. Well, it's time now for our final home version of the Aflac trivia question. Very interesting interrogatory here this afternoon. There's one current guy still playing, one current Major League player, and 2 current managers who played on that Angels '86 postseason team. The last time the Angels made postseason, the one Dave Henderson destroyed for the at that time California Angels. A swing and a foul back by Eric Chavez as we go to the 4th. 2 managers and 1 current player. So a guy that's played a long time, at least 16 years ago.
That might be Chuck Finley.
Oh, I don't. Was he on that club in '86? He may have been.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, Chuck Finley was. He'll be the number 2 starter for the St. Louis Cardinals this year. Good curveball to Eric Chavez. 1 and 2. And it's going to get back. Seats.
And one other guy that was on that club that year was Mark McLemore, but he was not eligible for the postseason play.
2 and 2.
Trying to think of the managers.
Yeah, I am too.
Jerry Narron on that club. He was there for a while. Now managing down in Texas.
High and outside. 3 and 2 the count on Eric Chavez. If you don't know, you just tuned in and you haven't heard, we'll let you know that the Angels did win today 10-5 to qualify for the playoffs for the first time since 1986. Bobby Valentine wasn't on that club. That was way earlier.
No, he had left.
Curveball, yeah, right on the inside corner to Eric Chavez for strikeout number 5. However, the club that had the best record against the other 3 clubs in the division will not qualify this year, that being the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners 33 and 21 against the American League West. Strike on the outside corner.
I think I know the other manager.
Okay.
Manages in the National League.
All right.
They wear red uniforms.
All right.
Try Cincinnati.
Okay. Mr. Boone.
Mr. Boone.
Fouled at the plate. So Bob Boone, Jerry Narron, and Chuck Finley.
Those are my guesses. And that's without peeking.
Oh, we never peek.
They don't give us the paper,
No,
the answer up
They don't
here.
give us the answers. We're very lucky when we guess these things. Now back right over our head. Sometimes I think Curtis Wilson sits up till 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning thinking about the Aflac trivia questions. Is he on the Aflac payroll, do you know? Or does he just quack like a duck? Back up the middle, and a great play by Guillen, but he can't throw him out.
Long way to go for Carlos, especially when you consider that Guillen was playing Jermaine Dye slightly to pull, and so that ground ball back up the middle. Long way to go, and by the time he does the 360, Dye is able to beat that out.
Maybe he takes high. It's going to be Desi. So 2 away here in the 4th inning. And a reminder that if you're looking to become a new Mariners season ticket holder for next year, and we hope you are, now's the time to act and reserve yourself a spot here at, I think you can see, the best ballpark in baseball, and be up close and personal for every big play next season. Representatives are standing by. All you have to do is call 206-346-4001. They have all the information for you. Mark Ellis takes high, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, used quite a few pitches here in the early going. 18 pitches in just the 4th inning here.
'77 pitches for Bill Well. How about that? Huh? Great day to go parasailing out over Elliott Bay. Two and two. You ever been parasailing?
No, and I have not gone on the bungee jump either.
You're going to go to your grave never knowing that thrill, huh?
I'm going to go to my grave just kind of wondering what that would feel like.
I've never really wondered, to tell you the truth. 3 and 2 as Jermaine Dye will be running from first base now.
Yeah, it's something I've always wanted to do, though.
Walked him. So the 3rd walk. And Terrence Long will be the hitter. Long rolled out to Guillen last inning.
Coming into this series, Long was in a pretty good hot streak. He is 1 for 8 in this series. However, he does have 9 hits. His last 22 make that 23 at bats now.
Change.
One of the big questions that Lou had, as well as Brian Price at the very beginning of the year when they were considering putting Joel in the rotation, and that is, how durable can he work 200 innings in a season? And I think we have the answer here, and he's coming through this year quite well.
He's in the 190s now. $192 2/3 innings for Joel Pinheiro.
I think we're probably going to find out next year what kind of effect that the working in basically 200 innings. If that's going to have any effect upon him next year.
Well, it really shouldn't if he doesn't pitch winter ball. I mean, he's earned a well-deserved rest. A lot of these youngsters, especially from Puerto Rico or from Venezuela, the Dominican, will go down and almost be obliged to pitch in their native land.
Yeah, he'd have to probably go down there and pitch a few games. Then also, he's probably going to have to work out. Good curveball that time. Work out and do a lot of stretching.
Well, he just worked out a little bit of a jam here in the 4th inning by striking out Terrence Long for his 6th strikeout. So a hit, 2 left, and as we go to the 4th, no score. No score. Another magnificent shot of Seahawk Stadium, downtown Seattle, looking out over Elliott Bay. We have the best camera crew in the business. We have so many guys that do such a great job. That's a shot from Bubba, from Dave Wegner, who's been with us all these many years. There's that shot. David, great job again this year. Way high up there in the rafters here at Safeco Field as Edgar Martinez leads it off and fouls the pitch back. Bobby Wilson, another of our camera guys. Jim Danger, Chris Blazina, John Lubash, Scott Bergen, Steve Amada, Dave Hars, Todd Gordon, Eric Clausen, Justin Dexter, Chris Allard, Lance Johnson, all fantastic cameramen that get the job done here for you at home watching on Fox Sports Northwest. Our technical directors, Rick Jones, Doug Wetz, Tim Lay, Todd Gordon. We thank you. Edgar takes down low and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Until we are handed a list of everybody that works on the crew, and we don't see them all every day. We know they're there. You don't really realize how many people it takes to put on a telecast. It's amazing the number of personnel that it takes for you to be able to sit at home and enjoy Mariners baseball.
Yeah, sometimes just sit down in the truck and watch what happens during just an ordinary inning. They're the guys.
Edgar, a fly ball to right field and an easy play for Jermaine Dye.
You know, Dave, one thing that makes it so great to televise a game out of this ballpark here at Safeco Field is that we do have so many different camera positions. And, boy, looking down the line and seeing balls that are fair or foul, or getting shots of Elliott Bay and all, just that the variety of angles that we're able to come up with, that these guys are very talented.
Here's John Olerud. And a breaking ball to him on the inside corner.
Yeah, there's a guy that keeps shifting. Left-handed hitter, right-handed hitter. So give you a good shot behind home plate. Give you a shot of that here in just a second as soon as you get situated. There it is.
Yeah, just lifted the net there, so he's going to get his lens broke on this foul ball.
I know, we had that happen earlier this year. But you can't do this in every ballpark.
Fouled back and out of play. 0-2 the count on John Olerud. Look at that.
That's the robotic shot.
Yeah.
There it is.
That is the shot you're seeing now. That's operated from the truck. Down low and over toward a camera bay. Low to the left. 1-2 the count on John Olerud. All right, Mark.
Same with Sammy Sosa. And there's his shot.
Change down low, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. All year long, the guys and the gals in the replay room too. Tom Simons, Alicia Herzog, Todd Calamar, Dave Wallingford, Ray Maker, Rick Woolery, Angela Hill. Always waiting to see that second replay, and they do a good job of capturing it for you. John Olerud, an easy ground ball to second, 2 away here in the 4th.
They've been told we have as many as 14 cameras here at Safeco Field, trying to give you as many various shots of the plays and the action out there in the field and in the stands as well.
Here's Boone. Mm-hmm. 1-2. Oakland's going to be mighty tough in the playoffs with their big 3. This guy is as their number 4. Usually you don't need a number 4 in the playoffs, the way the games are spaced. And Boone, a fly ball to deep right field, and that baby's gonna fly away. Brett Boone with number 24, and the Mariners have a 1-0 lead. So Brett Boone with his 107th RBI of the year. A typical Boone shot in that it ends up in right field. Boone hits most of his home runs to center field, right center, and right field, and another one to right field. A silver bullet blast, number 24 for Brett Boone, brought to you by Coors Light.
Take a look at it one more time. Up and out over the plate, and Boone catches up to it. Now has a 10-game hitting streak going. He has 19 hits in his last 41 at bats. Bad heel and all.
1-0.
Boy, what a great second half that Boone's had. 12 home runs, 53 runs driven in the second half. Batting right around .350 the second half of the season. Yeah, that'll put a smile on your face.
The curve for a strike, 1-2. Look out. Almost picked off his third base coach, Dave Meyer. That's going to be a souvenir. course, the hero of the Opus last night, Mike Cameron, with that 2-run home run in the 8th inning. I mean, it was a rocket off the scoreboard and left center field of Jim Messier. Two and two. Red Sox were eliminated a couple days ago, lost again today. The White Sox beat them 3-2 this afternoon in Chicago. And that's belted to left field, and Mike has hit another one out. This time, just a tee shot right over the hand-operated scoreboard, back into the lower bleachers out there. His 25th home run of the year. Back-to-back shots by Brett Boone and Mike Cameron, and the Mariners have the 2-0 lead over the Oakland Athletics. Number 25, Silver Bullet Blast for Cammy. Brought to you by Coors Light.
Seventh time this year that the Mariners have gone back-to-back. And there's no doubt about this one. Very similar to the ball he hit last night, way back into the seats.
Yen taking a breaking ball for a strike. They're saying 407 feet on that one. Wasn't a lot. What was last time? 447?
430 something?
422, I'm told. 422 last night.
Yeah, well, he hit it off the scoreboard. I know that.
And he went that time on a pitch in dirt. So Carlos is down on strikes, but back-to-back long balls from Boone and Cameron, and the Mariners are on the board. At the end of 4, Brett Boone got it going with this shot to right field. There was a little doubt about that one, and that was followed up by Mike Cameron's shot into the left field sector, and the Mariners lead it 2-0. 6th postseason team. Mr. Fairley, you can have any stuffed toy up there on the wall you want. You've got all 3 of them. Chuck Finley, Bob Boone, and Jerry Narron. Ron got all 3 of them. So, I don't know. I assume that you want the duck that's up there, don't you?
Yeah, I'll take the duck.
Okay. Congratulations. Got all 3 of them right. One ball, one strike to count on Ramon Hernandez. Back Carl Malone, who has been with us all these years since we've been with Fox, our executive producer, since our maiden voyage on October the 5th, way back in 1988, when we televised our first event, which was a Pac-10 football game between Washington State and Stanford. He's going to be leaving. Here comes the 1-2 pitch and a swing and a ground ball hit to Yan, and Carlos throws to first in plenty of time to get Ramon Hernandez. He's been the executive producer of Mariners baseball since Fox Sports first bought the Mariners to the Greater Northwest on June the 24th, 1994. After 14 years of leading the production arm of Fox Sports Northwest, he's decided to to go on his own. Here is the pitch on the way, and it's down low and outside to Ray Durham, turning his big comfy leather chair. And if you've ever sat in that leather chair, you know how comfortable that is. It's hard to get Carl out of that chair. You know.
Good leather chair, you're right.
Good leather chair will do that to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little blooper hit into center field, but right there is Guillen to make the catch. Carl owns a cabin in rural Montana, and he's going to sit out on his Adirondack chair out there on the deck. You know, just sit back and look at the big sky country out there for a while and contemplate his navel.
Listen to his beard grow a little bit.
That's right, yeah. And take it easy. We wish Carl well, one of the real great guys in this business, Carl Malone. We wish you well.
Yeah, enjoy the sunsets.
And look out for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, don't feed them.
One and 0 on Scott Hatteberg.
Hey, I'm just taking a look at the standings. Coming into today's play, Oakland had a 3-game lead on Anaheim. Well, if the Mariners hold on and win this, the A's lead is going to be down to 2 with 3 games to play. And so they're the magic numbers there. But yeah, they've clinched a spot in the playoffs, but there's a possibility that the Angels could win.
Oh, there's still a mathematical possibility. That's what,
Mathematical
of course, that's what the Mariners were hanging to, that real thin thread that kind of snapped today when Texas was beaten by Anaheim 10-5. Fourth walk, and the second given up to Hatteberg, and Tejada will be the hitter now. We're 2 down here in the 5th.
And Yarrow getting up there in the pitch count now. Sold a lot of pitches this afternoon. 96.
I think that's the one thing that both he and Freddie Garcia are going to have to probably improve upon, is finding out a way to throw fewer pitches to get deeper into ball games. But most strikeout pitchers will throw a lot of pitches. And he's thrown out, he's struck out 6, and there's Freddie, who'll pitch tomorrow. One more outing, and looking for his 17th victory. Talking to Ismael Valdez there on his right. Jared Washburn, the 18-game winner, will go up against Freddie tomorrow. Our pregame show begins at 6:30. You're on Fox Sports Net. From Edison International Field. High chopper over the mound. Right there is Guillen, and he has to hurry his throw, and he doesn't get it. Good hustle by Miguel Tejada.
It was played by Guillen coming in, the do or die coming up with it. And did he beat it? Yes, he did. Bang, bang play. And the question is, did he have a better chance to get the runner at second, or did he have a better chance to get Tejada at first base? Tejada says, nope, you're not going to get either one of us.
So Miguel Tejada now 2 hits away from 200 on the year. That was his 198. Other end of the year milestones to be attained, individual honors. Sammy Sosa 2 away from 500. Broken bat, ground ball hit right to Boone, and he will throw him out. Sosa will not get it today because Cincinnati shut out the Cubs 1-0. A 0 up on the board here in the 5th. 1 hit, 2 left, and we'll go to the bottom of the 5th with the Mariners leading it 2-0.
Was brought to you by Money Tree, your cash solution. By Henry Weinhardt's Beer Means More Here. And by the Bon Marché, the Northwest source for fashion, home, and gifts for more than 100 years. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning here at Safeco Field. The Mariners lead the Oakland A's by a score of 2-0 on back-to-back home runs by Brett Boone and Mike Cameron. Dan Wilson leads off the inning. Line drive center field. Terrence Long battling the sun. Makes the catch. 1 out for the Mariners here in the 5th. Hi again, everybody. Rick Grizz along with Dave Valley. As you know by now, the Anaheim Angels have clinched that playoff spot with a win down in Texas. But Dave Valley, what an effort by the Mariners to keep those hopes alive here the last 4 days.
Well, they certainly have. The folks here at Safeco Field, this entire homestand, I think, started to believe each and every night that the Mariners came from behind and took a win away from the Oakland Athletics. And with the Texas Rangers beating the Anaheim Angels, I mean, you started feeling it here. You started to feel the electricity. 2 incredible ball games the last 2 evenings. And we've got a great one here this afternoon.
Desi Relaford pops one up left field toward the line on the run. John Mabry makes the catch. So 2 outs for the Mariners here in the 5th. Well, for all the latest information on Mariners special events, player appearances, and game previews and recaps, just dial the AT&T Wireless Mariners fan phone at 1-800-MY-MARINERS. You can get Mariner news and updates at any time, day or night. It doesn't matter if you're in Longview, Moses Lake, Wenatchee, Montesano, or Juneau. Just dial 1-800-MY-MARINERS for the Mariners Insider. So 2 outs, and here's Ichiro, and he takes a change from Corey Lytle for a strike. Lytle with no decisions in his last 3 starts and a loss time before that. This guy did a heck of a job for the Athletics last year, Val. 13 wins. He was 13-6. Did a nice job for the A's this year as well.
And whenever you talk about the Oakland Athletics, you talk about their big 3. But it was this guy in the month of August that really got the Oakland Athletics rolling. Corey Lytle, throwing nearly 36 straight scoreless innings, was a pitcher of the month for August. But you never did hear much about him. You always heard about Zito and Mulder and Hudson, and rightfully so.
The big 3, yeah.
But this guy certainly did a great job for him.
Swing and a miss, and a fastball in on the hands of Ichiro for strike 3, and that's it for the Mariners in the 5th. We go to the 6th. Mariners 2 and the Oakland A's nothing on a beautiful Thursday afternoon here in Seattle. Safeco Field, 45,822, our 38th sellout of the season. As you take a look at the crowd throughout the ballpark today, Jermaine Dye leads off the top half of the 6th inning, fouls one away from Joel Pinheiro. 0-1. Mariners 2 and the A's nothing on the back-to-back home runs by Brett Boone and Mike Cameron. Ground ball to Hopper right at Desi Relaford. Toss across to get Dye at first base. 1 out for the A's here in the 6th inning. Well, this is our final home telecast of the 2002 season. It takes a lot of talented people, a lot of good people to bring you the best telecast in Major League Baseball. At least we think so. And some of the guys down in the truck that push all the right buttons and make it happen. Guys like Dennis Brown, Jim Rager, Mike O'Brien, Norm Ragsdale, Gary Brewer, Darren Smith, Chris Ragsdale, and Joel Smith. Way to go, fellas. John Mabry with a ground ball, base hit up the middle into center field. The ex-Mariner John Mabry aboard with 1 out for the A's here in the 6th inning. Thanks a lot, guys, for making our jobs easy.
And just doing a wonderful job. Absolutely making our jobs easy, but doing such a professional job as this ball goes off the foot of Joel Pinheiro. This ball gets back on him in a hurry.
Reaches down, glances off his foot. And for the A's, only their 4th hit of the game. 1 on, 1 out, and here's second baseman Mark Ellis. Change, strike on the inside corner. Good off-speed pitch.
Well, that's the pitch that Joel is really getting a lot of confidence, and I think that's the pitch that has really put him over the top and has allowed him to have the success that he's had this season. He's always had a good fastball and that good curveball, but it's having that third pitch as a starter that is so important.
In the dirt, knocked down by catcher Dan Wilson. 1-1 the count. Back to first goes Mabry. You have to have an off-speed pitch. Jeff Nelson warming up down to the bullpen.
Well, where it really comes into play is on that day when you're not really having good location with your breaking ball. If a hitter knows that you only have 2 pitches and he can just spit on the curveball and just sit fastball the entire at bat. But with Joel, he's starting to throw it more in fastball counts, and I think he's learned a lot by watching Jamie Moyer and Freddie Garcia and talking with those guys in between starts. He has always had a very tenacious approach out on the mound.
Breaking ball for a strike, and the count is even on Ellis at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And of course, you have to make that changeup look like a fastball, have the same arm speed. You can't telegraph that pitch, and Joel Pinheiro has a good one. Curveball outside, full count, 3-2.
And we saw earlier in the year, coming out of spring training, Joel earned a spot as a starter. Once they got up to Seattle, Lou Piniella and Brian Price pulled him aside and said, hey, we need you down in the bullpen. We need you to go down there and help us out. So he had a great approach. Mentally didn't feel sorry for himself.
Down the line, fair ball off the glove on the long reach by Desi Relaford. It was right over the bag. The third base umpire Jerry Davis was right there to make the call. That's a base hit for Mark Ellis. And down to second goes John Mabry. So 2 on for the A's, and here's another look at it.
This is just a high chopper right there. It hits off the top of the glove of Desi Relaford and kicks further into foul territory. The ball takes a big high hop. It'd have been tough even if Desi comes up with that ball to be able to get his feet set and come across and make that play.
Here comes Lou Piniella out of the dugout. Joel Pinheiro says thanks a lot, kid, and he's thrown his final pitch here in 2002, and you got a lot to look forward to next year with this young man, Joel Pinheiro. He leaves with 1 out in the top of the 6th, and he also leaves with a 2-0 lead. And Joel Pinheiro, a wave of his cap to the sellout crowd here at Safeco Field. 2 on for the A's, and here comes Jeff Nelson on in relief, and we'll be back after this timeout. By a score of 2-0 with some fine pitching this afternoon by that young man right there, Joel Pinheiro. Time now for the Pennzoil protection play, brought to you by Pennzoil. And how about Joel's outing this afternoon, Dave Valley?
Well, Joel got off to a tremendous start with that great breaking ball early in the ball game. Just really been able to locate it on the outside part of the plate. Had tremendous location with his fastball and used his changeup very effectively here this afternoon. Very rough at-bats for the Oakland Athletics.
6 strikeouts for Joel Pinheiro. He leaves with a 2-0 lead. The A's have runners at first and second with 1 out, top half of the 6th. And the new pitcher is right-hander Jeff Nelson. Here are the numbers for Pinheiro in 5 1/3.
Well, you can see why Lou made the move right here with 111 pitches. Joel with 6 strikeouts over 5 1/3, scattering those 5 hits and walking 4. That's why his pitch count got up here in the top of the 6th inning. But what a tremendous game and a phenomenal year for Joel Pinheiro.
Very special season for this young man. Here's Jeff Nelson, who really came on strong in the second half after the surgery on his elbow in the first half of the season to remove bone chips. Terrence Long takes a slider low, ball 1. Long is 0 for 2. Fastball popped up, shallow left field. Going out, Carlos Guillen calling for it. He's there and he makes the catch. 2 away. And the runners have to stay at first and second. Well, the Mariners would like to thank the Heart of Washington for their support this season and remind you that now that fall is here. You'll find Washington grown peaches, apples, and pears at your local farmers markets and grocery stores, all from the heart of Washington. So 2 on 2 away, and here is catcher Ramon Hernandez. Well, we're going to have a pinch hitter for Hernandez. Here's Greg Myers, the bat for Hernandez. Myers was the final out of the game last night. Kazuhiro Sasaki struck him out, as Kazu picked up his 37th save of the year. So here's Myers batting .232 with 6 home runs and 20 runs batted in.
Myers 5 for 15 as a pinch hitter this season, with 2 home runs and 7 RBI. Pretty productive numbers for a pinch hitter.
Outside on Myers, ball 1. On deck is Ray Durham. Myers 1 for 2 with a home run off of Nelly. A little low with the slider, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Nelly a turnaround and look, keeping his eyes on the runner at second base, John Mabry. Mabry at second, Mark Ellis on at first base with 2 outs. Ball 3, and he's way behind Greg Myers now with 3 balls and no strikes. Fastball in there. Myers taken all the way. 3-1 the count. Two on, 2 away. The outfield straight away. Outside for ball 4. So Greg Myers with a walk, and the A's now have the bases loaded with 2 outs for little Ray Durham, who can be a very big pain at home plate.
Very tough hitter. He's done a good job against the Seattle Mariners this season. This guy's been such a huge pickup for the Oakland Athletics, coming over from the Chicago White Sox, a team that was mired in a terrible season. Instead, he comes over and joins the Oakland Athletics in the midst of a pennant race.
Inside a fastball, ball 1. Jeff Nelson looking for the final out here in the 6th inning. Mabry on at third, Ellis at second base. Greg Myers on at first with 2 down. Fastball, strike, 1-1. Strike 2 called, 1-2 on Ray Durham. And now time is called. Catcher Dan Wilson out to the mound to talk things over with Nelly. All right, Nelly, what do you want to do? And Val, what are they talking about right here against Ray Durham?
Well, I think there's probably 2 things that they're doing right now. They're talking about what pitch they want to come after Ray Durham with, but also changing up the signs. With the runner on second, he's seen a number of sequences out there. Danny Wilson wanting to make sure that they have the right sequence and the right plan to put Ray Durham away right here.
Down and away, ball 2, 2-2 the count. Mabry on at third, Ellis at second, the tying run. Greg Myers on at first base. The go-ahead run. 2-0 Mariners lead, but 2 outs here in the 6th for the A's. Fouled away behind home plate and out of play, and it's still 2-2. What a run for the Oakland A's in the second half of the season. A record of 49-21 since the All-Star break, including that 20-game winning streak, the longest in American League history.
This is probably the first game that Jeff Nelson has pitched in since 1993 that did not have playoff consequences.
You're right. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. He strikes out Ray Durham with the bases loaded, and that's it for Oakland in the 6th. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. 3 are left on. We go to the bottom half of the 6th. The Mariners lead the A's 2-0. 2-0. Bottom half of the 6th. Jeff Nelson gets the Mariners out of a bases loaded jam in the top of the 6th inning. New pitcher for the A's, Greg Myers. Myers walked to load the bases, or excuse me, the new catcher, Greg Myers, walked to load the bases in the top half of the 6th inning. So Myers, the new catcher. And here is Willie Bloomquist. Low, ball 1. Willie is 0 for 2. He's in a slump. 9 for 13 in his last 3 starts. Man, this kid has been something special. Takes a curveball from Corey Lytle for a strike of the knees. 1-1 the count.
Well, certainly a few games to remember for Willie Bloomquist, especially games that had some meaning here in September.
On a hop to the second baseman, Mark Ellis fires the first in time to get a hustling Willie Bloomquist. 1 out for the Mariners here in the 6th. Talking with Willie prior to the ball game, he said he struggled in the first half down in Tacoma this year because he suffered from vertigo, problem with the inner ear. And he said, I would just turn my head a certain way and the whole room would start spinning. Same thing as he tried to go after a ground ball, he would get dizzy. And fortunately, after about 3.5 weeks, it finally went away.
That's a scary thing. It happened to Nick Asaski after he had a tremendous year for the Boston Red Sox, signed by the Atlanta Braves. And Asaski's career ended. Never played again.
Fortunately, Willie's is just starting to blossom and just starting to get underway. Put together a fine second half down in Tacoma and ended up hitting .270 after hitting under .200 the first half with the Rainiers. Edgar Martinez takes a pitch low for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Now the Mariners hold the option on Edgar's contract for next season. Love to see this guy back.
You know, you really don't even want to. You don't even want to go there. You don't even want to think about the Seattle Mariners without Edgar Martinez.
He has been here through the good times and bad. So much a part of this organization since day 1 when he showed up here. Broken bat, ground ball to third baseman Chavez. 2 outs for the Mariners here in the 6th. Say, friends, dust off your old baseball gear and come and experience the greatest baseball week of your life at the 2003 Seattle Mariners Fantasy Camp. You can use the same facilities the Mariners do every spring training in sunny Peoria, Arizona, as well as meet and learn from some of the Mariners' most popular former players, including this year's special guest, Jay Buhner. To register or learn more about the camp, all you have to do is call 206-227-2555. Folks, it is a great time, a whole week's worth of baseball at the Mariners Fantasy Camp in January. John Olerud, 1-0 the count. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Bottom half of the 6th, 2 outs. Mariners lead 2-0.
John Olerud, one of the true marks of consistency in the game of baseball today.
Hard hit ground ball to third baseman Eric Chavez from his knees. The throw to first is in time to get John Olerud. Chavez to his right, never got up from his knees. Gets John Olerud at first base. What a play by Eric Chavez. We go to the 7th inning. Mariners lead Oakland 2-0. baseball is brought to you by your Northwest Chevy dealers, who invite you to test drive the new Chevy cars and trucks. By Tire Factory, local owners putting you first. By McDonald's, featuring McDonald's dollar deals, a whole menu of items for just $1 each. And by Coors Light, naturally brewed. Reach for the silver bullet, the pure taste of the Rockies. Beautiful Thursday afternoon, final home game of the 2002 regular season. It's on to Anaheim after the ball game tonight to take on the Angels tomorrow night in game 1 of that 3-game series that will wind down the year. Mariners 2, the A's nothing. First baseman Scott Henneberg will lead off the 7th inning. Ball 1. Henneberg has walked a couple of times and struck out. Slider. 1-1. Fouled away behind home plate. 1-2. Jeff Nelson, like a lot of other guys, make their homes here in the Northwest. They have a chance to do a lot of charity work during the course of the off season. A lot of former players are here. Partner Dave Valley, David Henderson. So many former players stay right here in the Northwest when their playing days are over. Well hit ball into the gap in left center field. On the run, Mike Cameron makes the catch. 1 out for the A's here in the 7th inning. Mike Cameron does that little thing with his glove where he stretches it out quickly, says, I've got it. Well, Gary Payton wants a new contract, but so far the Sonics won't budge. Tonight at 10 on the Northwest Sports Report, the Glove talks about his future with the Sonics. We'll also find out how he's preparing for what could be his final season in Seattle and take a look at his new shoe. You can also weigh in with your opinion. Just send an email with your thoughts on Gary's contract to northwest@foxsports.net. We'll read some of the best emails tonight at 10 on the Northwest Sports Report. Here's shortstop Miguel Tejada. Ball 1 the count. Tejada 1 for 2 with a single and infield base hit. Two and 0 the count. Mariners had back-to-back home runs by Brett Boone and Mike Cameron in the bottom half of the 4th. And Cammy, for the second day in a row, Val, shot one out of a cannon.
Well, you know, in his last 3 at-bats, I don't know if he's ever hit 3 balls in 3 at-bats as hard as he has in those last 3. Even his first base hit today was just a rocket to left field.
And Brett Boone just used a nice little short stroke and hit the ball out to right field.
He got a fastball up by Corey Lytle, just tomahawked it with that real short punch stroke that he uses when he gets behind in the count with 2 strikes.
Back up the middle and into center field. Another base hit for Miguel Tejada. So 1 on for the A's with 1 out here in the 7th. And that's the first base hit off of Nelly in relief as you take a look at left-hander Arthur Rhodes down to the bullpen. Mariners have the 2 best setup guys in baseball from the left side. From the right side, Arthur Rhodes and Jeff Nelson. Here's third baseman Eric Chavez, who is 0 for 3. A lot of questions during the offseason will have to be answered. 0-1 the count on Chavez. We have 3 days left, 3 games left in the regular season. And then clubs get ready for next year. Inside. 1-1 on Chavez.
Well, and as you look at this season for the Seattle Mariners, you know, just to give some perspective, this is the 2nd highest win total that we have had in the 25-year history of this franchise.
92 wins on the season. Line drive the other way, but foul down the left field side, and the count goes to 1-2 on Eric Chavez. Mariners had the record year last year.
And if you come into spring training and say, hey, would you take your chances with 92 wins to win a division title? And I guarantee just about every ball club would say, yeah, I'll take 92 right now. But this year, the American League West is probably the best, toughest division in the game of baseball. The Oakland Athletics and Anaheim Angels have just played tremendous baseball in the second half.
Well, here are the A's with 99 wins. The Anaheim Angels won this afternoon to clinch a playoff berth with their 97th win. And it won't be good enough to win a title, a division title. The Oakland A's closing in on 100 victories. Tim Hudson, a 15-game winner, worked 7 innings last night and no decision. You've got the big three in Oakland. A swing and a miss by Eric Chavez. What a cut. And that's it for Chavez. Another strikeout for Jeff Nelson in relief, his second. 2 outs for the Athletics here in the 7th.
Nelly getting that fastball a little bit up above the zone. Chavez going after. Tough pitch from Jeff Nelson at 94 miles an hour to be able to catch up with.
So 1 on 2 away brings up right fielder Jermaine Dye, and the Mariners lead Oakland by a score of 2-0.
And if the Seattle Mariners can hold on and win today, Rick, it'll be their 300th win over the last 3 years.
Talk about consistency. That hasn't been done since the New York Mets of 1986, 87, and 88. They won a combined total of 300 wins during those 3 seasons. 1-1 on Jermaine Dye.
There's only been 16 clubs in the history of baseball who have been able to do that over the course of 3 seasons.
Runner goes. Pitch for a ball thrown on a second by Dan Wilson. Not in time. A stolen base for Miguel Tejada, his 7th. Dan Wilson made a perfect toss down to Brett Boone covering second base on the play, but Tejada with a good jump, and he gets in just ahead of the tag.
Willie gets rid of this ball so quickly. He gets good feet work, gets rid of it, and throws a strike to Brett Boone. And that's a bang bang play. Tejada may have gotten his fingertips in there.
Runner at second, 2 outs. 2-1 on Dye. Down and away, ball 3, 3-1 the count. Jermaine Dye 1 for 3 with a single to center field. That was in the 4th inning. Little ground ball along the third base side, picked up by Jeff Nelson, and he gets Dye at first base to retire the side. No runs, a hit, and a man left on. We go to the bottom half of inning number 7. The Mariners lead the A's 2-0. And the Mariners' 7th inning stretch is sponsored by Gorgeous Gouda, Marvelous Monterey Jack, and Awesome American Cheddar. The power of cheese. Brought to you with pride by the Dairy Farmers of Washington. Bottom half of the 7th inning. Mariners lead the A's 2-0 on back-to-back home runs by Boone and Cameron. And here is Brett Boone to lead off inning number 7. Boone, a home run to right. His 24th of the year. Way ahead of the count against Corey Lytle at 3 balls and no strikes. Brett Boone had to do a whole lot of hitting in the second half to get his average up to the 280 mark. He batted just .229 at the All-Star break, Val, and turned it on in the second half.
He really has been amazing. I mean, he's hitting nearly .350 in the second half, but even in the first half.
Popped up, near the dugout. Greg Myers, the catcher's there, and drops the ball. Use two hands. You got a chance to make the catch. Just tries to one-handed, especially with a catcher's glove. Greg Myers upset with himself, and that's going to be an error on Myers.
Myers just trying to follow this ball as it drifts towards the Mariner dugout right there. But just clanks it. Nothing more to say. Just clanked it. Brett Boone getting a second chance.
And he drills one into right center, but Terrence Long is already in that area to make the catch. So one away for the Mariners here in the 7th. So I don't care if you're a little leaguer or a big leaguer, use two hands. Here's center fielder Mike Cameron. Cameron hit a tee shot way out to left field in the bottom of the 4th inning. His 25th home run of the year. He had the game-winning home run last night that just electrified this crowd and kept the Mariners' hopes alive for a playoff spot. But those hopes were dashed this afternoon when the Anaheim Angels won down in Texas earlier today by a score of 10-4. 10-5, excuse me.
I was talking to Cammy last night after the ball game, and he gave an assist to Edgar Martinez for that home run. Cammy said he was just not feeling real comfortable up at the plate, and he went over to Edgar before that at bat and said, you know, how do you go after this guy? Well, you know, what's your plan when you go up there? So he told Cammy, he said, hey, just move up in the box and look for the fastball. And Cameron went up there and he threw him a first pitch fastball, and he took it because he was surprised he got it.
There's a drive through the hole at short. Another base hit from Mike Cameron, his 3rd. So Mike Cameron skips one through the hole and short between Chavez and Tejada. One on with one out here in the 7th inning.
Well, Cammy is really covering that down and in pitch right now. This is just a low flying missile that gets through the infield on the left side. But Cammy in his last 4 at-bats has just squared the ball up on the barrel 4 times. 2 of those for home runs.
100 pitches for Corey Lytle. Here's shortstop Carlos Guillen. So a little tip from Poppy. Mike Cameron went up and hit that game-winning home run last night in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Mariners still had a little magic dust left over from the '95 season. I tell you what, it was fun. It was exciting. The last 4 games, this club never gave up. A little speck of dust in Carlos's eye.
Is that magic dust?
I was thinking the same thing. This guy, man, he was covered with magic dust in 1995, and again this year. He is Mr. Mariner, Edgar Martinez. Mariners have the option on his contract for next year.
And as Cammy was talking about Edgar and just some of the advice that he gave him last night that turned out to be a huge success.
Ground ball to Hatteberg. Down to second in time to get the force on Mike Cameron, but Hatteberg had a rough time trying to make the transfer. So they get the 1 out on Cameron at second, and there are 2 outs in the inning. Guillen is safe at first on a fielder's choice. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Seattle Mariners. 2-0. Mariners lead. 1 on, 2 outs. Here's another guy from that magical '95 season, Dan Wilson.
Danny having a great year, hitting .301. He's another guy that will be a free agent at the end of this season. And another Mariner that you just don't even want to think about not being back next year. Danny Wilson's been such a huge part of the success that the Mariners have had since 1995.
Came over in 1994 in a deal with the Cincinnati Reds that sent Brett Boone and Eric Hansen to Cincinnati. The Mariners acquired Dan Wilson and Bobby Ayala. Breaking ball down and away. 1-1 the count on Dan.
Mike Venafro and Chad Bradford getting loose down in the Oakland Athletic bullpen.
Corey Lytle has gone all the way so far this afternoon. Over to first base to get Carlos Guillen back. Mariners dug themselves a mighty big hole the last month of the season. They tried to dig themselves out of it the last 4 games with some exciting baseball. I want to remember the last 2 games here against the Oakland A's for a long time. The way they came back. Ground ball to shortstop Miguel Tejada. He'll go to first with a throw, and it's in time to get Dan Wilson for out number 3, and we go to the 8th. Mariners lead the A's 2-0. Seattle Mariners baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. By Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse, Lowe's improving home improvement. By your Northwest Ford stores, home of the best-selling trucks in America. See your Northwest Ford dealer today. By Pennzoil, we're driving protection. And by Geico Direct, the sensible alternative. Rick Riz along with Dave Valley. Robbie Nielsen up here in the booth, our AD, as we go to the top half of the 8th inning. 2-0 Mariners lead the A's, and John Mabry will lead things off for Oakland. Outside, ball 1. Mabry will be followed by Mark Ellis and then Terrence Long. John is 1 for 3 with a single to center field. Two and 0.
Talk about great additions to a ball club. John Mabry, since joining the Oakland Athletics along with Ray Dorm, really been an important part of their run here the last 2 months.
Gave up some big hits as soon as he joined the ball club. Game-winning home runs. At the knees for a strike. 3-1. Outside for ball 4. So Mabry with a leadoff walk here in the 8th. Second walk given up by Jeff Nelson in relief. Brings up second baseman Mark Ellis. Ellis 1 for 2 with a single his last time up in the 6th inning. Ball 1. Jeff Nelson, super job a couple of nights ago in beating Anaheim 3-2 in relief. Picked up his second save of the year. Ryan Franklin got the win in that game. Again, it was a do or die situation for the Mariners to keep their slim playoff hopes alive at the time after losing the first game in that series to Anaheim. But the Mariners in a situation where they had to win 8 in a row and the Angels had to lose 8 in a row. Well, game 5 in that stretch, the Angels won today down in Texas 10-5 to clinch a playoff spot.
And I bet that locker room down in Texas was awfully quiet the last 2 nights as they watched the ball game, as the Mariners kept coming back and ultimately winning both the ball games in the last 2 evenings.
Well, that is one happy group, not only because they clinch a playoff spot, because you know that they didn't want to face the Mariners tomorrow night, with that game meaning something down in Anaheim. Fouled away by Ellis. Mariners were just trying to get to another tomorrow with their hopes alive for game 1 of a series down in Anaheim tomorrow night. And that is one happy group of Angels to get that thing clinched, because they didn't want to face the Mariners with anything on the line, even with a 3-game lead beginning tomorrow night. And it's outside for ball 4. So Mark Ellis with a walk. Back-to-back walks given up by Jeff Nelson. 2 on for the A's here in the 8th. Mariners lead 2-0 and nobody out. Time now for the Geico Direct moment. Geico Direct, the sensible alternative. Jamie Moyer on the Mariners' last 2 games, wins against the A's. Quote, "This is exciting baseball. This is why you play the game." And there he is, one of the game's best pitchers over the last 7 years, and still going strong, Jamie Moyer.
Well, and Jamie certainly knows how to play the game.
Hey, Lou Piniella out to the mound, and now Lou turning around and having a few words with the home plate umpire, Tim McClellan, about the ball and strike decisions of McClellan. Jeff Nelson not too happy with McClellan, and now Jeff Nelson staying with McClellan. I was just turning around and I didn't see if McClellan has tossed Nelly from this game or not. And now Lou is settling in between Nelson and McClellan, the home plate umpire. And that is going to be it for Jeff Nelson. So Jeff Nelson walking Mabry and Ellis. And I believe that Nelly has been ejected from this game by Tim McClellan. And yes, he did. So Jeff Nelson said something to home plate umpire Tim McClellan. And Nelly thrown out of the ball game, and then Lou tried to intervene. So with 2 on and nobody out, we've got a new pitcher, and we'll be back right after this timeout. Mariners lead the A's 2-0. We're in the top half of the 8th inning. Oakland with 2 on and nobody out, and the new pitcher is Arthur Rhodes.
Arthur Rhodes, opponent's hitting only 189 off the left-hander. Arthur having a tremendous season with a 2.36 ERA.
Faces Terrence Long and delivers low. Ball 1. Jeff Nelson ejected from this game by home plate umpire Tim McClellan after walking the first 2 batters that he faced, John Mabry and Mark Ellis. Chop to the right side, up the line. John Olerud gets the tag on Terrence Long, and the runners advance. Mabry to third. Mark Ellis down to second base. Long is out 3 unassisted. So now the A's have the tying runs on in scoring position. For new catcher Greg Myers, who walked as a pinch hitter for Ramon Hernandez back in the 6th inning. Infield is back. They'd give up 1 run for an out. A strike on Myers, 0-1. One reason for the Mariners' success down to the bullpen, you've got strikeout pitchers coming out of the bullpen. Rhodes, Nelson, and Sasaki to keep runners right where they are when they come into a ball game. There's a ground ball though up the first base line that's going to score a run. John Olerud pops the ball to Rhodes at the bag, and it's in time to get Greg Myers. But John Mabry scores from third base with the A's first run of the afternoon, and it's now the Mariners 2 and Oakland 1. Mark Ellis goes from second to third and give Myers a run batted in.
Arthur really having to hustle over here. So slow hit ball. John waiting for it to come to him. Myers scooting down. It looked like Arthur thought John was going to take the ball himself. Kind of hesitated there, made that play a little bit closer.
But 2 outs. Tying run is now on at third base, and Mark Ellis. 2-1 Mariners lead. And here's designated hitter Ray Durham. Durham 1 for 4 with a ground rule double into the right field corner. A strike, 0-1. Mariners 2 runs on 5 hits. A's 1 run on 6. 1-1 on Durham.
Durham, the switch hitter from the right side this season, is hitting only 196. While with the Oakland Athletics.
Two and one. Oakland will play the Minnesota Twins in the first round of the playoffs. Twins clinching the American League Central a while ago. Big difference between the Central and the West. Check swing. Did he go? He did not. The appeal down to the first base umpire at Rapuano, and the count is 3-1 on Ray Durham. Fouled away, and the count is full at 3-2. Mark Ellis, the tying run on at third base with 2 down here in the 8th. Ray Durham, a tough little out. Skipper Art Howe inside the A's dugout. 7th year as their manager. The 3-2 swing and a miss. Strike 3. Arthur Rhodes strikes out Ray Durham, and the Oakland A's leave the tying run stranded at third base. But they get a run, and we go to the bottom half of the 8th. It's now the Mariners 2 and the A's 1.
2-1 Mariners in the bottom of the 8th inning. Our post-game show coming up on Fox Sports Net. It's taken a decidedly different turn. We were all ready to preview the big Anaheim series, but obviously not much to preview in that one. The Mariners in Anaheim tomorrow night. Instead, on our post-game show tonight, remember all year long Major League Baseball has been doing their top 10 moments, brought to you by MasterCard. Well, we're going to give you the Mariners top 10 in Major League Baseball history, as voted on by the players, the coaching staff, and the announcers. We'll have that on our post-game show coming from center field immediately following this one. Mr. Riz.
All right, Mr. Waltz, thank you very much. And we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Desi Rutherford leads it off. 1-0 the count on Desi. Breaking ball is hit into left field. Coming in, John Mabry to make the catch. So 1 out for the Mariners here in the 8th. Again, we want to thank all the outstanding people and talent that make our telecast the best in baseball. Jim Danger is our technical manager. Rocco Macaroon is our segment producer. Jen Tanner is our production coordinator. Thank you, Jen. Liz Surratt is our operations manager. Byron Washington produced Mariners Weekly. Fouled away by Ichiro. Tim McQuillan produced Mariners Warm-Up, our pregame show. Tim, a super job with our telecast for a long time.
Baby Tim.
One of the worst tennis players I've ever seen in my life the last 3 or 4 years. No, actually very talented. We had a chance to play a little bit of tennis during the course of the year. And a great guy, Tim McQuillan. On a hop back to the mound, Corey Lytle is there. And 2 outs for the Mariners here in the 8th. Mariners baseball has been directed by Mark Engelbrecht and produced by Curtis Wilson. 2 of the most talented guys I've ever known in the business of baseball, giving you the pictures through your television sets. Curtis Wilson and Mark Engelbrecht, guys have been around for a long time. They're not only good at what they do, folks, but they love the game of baseball. They want to bring you the best, and they understand the game and how it unfolds. Here's Willie Bloomquist on a hop to third baseman Eric Chavez, tosses across, and it's in time to get Willie for out number 3, and we go to the top half of the 9th inning. The last try for the Oakland A's. Our score: the Mariners 2 and the A's 1. I like that score. The Mariners lead by a score of 2-1. I like that sign. And say, friends, this October is going to be filled with spellbound days and mystical nights as sports' biggest month comes to Fox. Baseball's Division Series kicks off with up to 125 hours of October's magical matchups. With thrilling NFL showdowns and exciting baseball playoff action, no other network will broadcast more sports in a single month this year. The magical matchups begin October the 1st on Fox. Time now for the difference of the game, brought to you by Columbia Bank. It's time for a better bank, Columbia Bank. You'll notice the difference. How about the back-to-back home runs by the Mariners? In the 4th inning, Brett Boone. The other way, Val.
Boone with that short little stroke. Takes a fastball up and away and puts it into seats in right field to get the Mariners on the board. And then the hero from last night's ball game, Mike Cameron, very similar pitch, down and in. This one's a little bit further left, but it's hit just as hard.
Mariners lead the A's 2-1. And Kazuhiro Sasaki takes over in relief, and out in left field is Charles Gibson for Willie Bloomquist. Dan Wilson going through the signs for Kazuhiro Sasaki. Fastball, a strike at the belt on Scott Hatteberg, leading things off for the A's here in the 9th.
Kaz going for save number 38. Opponent's hitting only 196 off the right-hander. 2.41 ERA.
Splitter is inside for ball 1, 1-1 on Hatteberg. Save number 37 last night for Kazu as he got the final 2 outs in the 9th inning, including striking out Greg Myers for the final out of the game. One and 2 the count on Hatteberg. Mariners looking for their 93rd win of the year and win number 300 over the last 3 seasons, trying to become the first team to win 300 games over a 3-year period since the New York Mets of 1986, 87, and 88, and one of only 16 teams in Major League history to do that. They have 299 wins the last 3 years. The 2-2 to Hatteberg. Ground ball to second baseman Brett Boone. Takes an easy hop for him. 1 out for the A's here in the 9th. Fans out there in the landing in left center field. Great vantage point to watch a ball game. Here at beautiful Safeco Field, the Mariner Moose getting everybody excited. And here comes shortstop Miguel Tejada. Tejada, 2 hits this afternoon, 2 for 3. Ball 1. Fastball just a little outside. Ball 2 according to home plate umpire Tim McClellan. 2-0 on Tejada. Good pitch.
That one looked like he painted that outside corner right there. Guys trying to stay away from Miguel Tejada.
Swing and a miss. He took a rip at a fastball down around the knees, and it goes to 2-1 on Miguel.
Tejada 2-0 count, just looking for that fastball. He knows he might have overswung just a little bit. Great location.
Kept it down. Fly ball into deep right field, into the corner, Ichiro, and it is gone. Goodbye baseball. Miguel Tejada tucks it into that right field corner, and the Oakland A's have tied the ball game at 2-2 here in the 9th. for Miguel Tejada, his 32nd home run of the season. Game tied at 2.
Tejada just so strong. He gets a fastball up, out over the plate. About belt high. This guy's got power to all fields. This ball just continues to carry. Ichiro runs out of room down there in the right field corner. Tejada, the player a lot of people feel should be the most valuable player in the American League.
Fouled away by Eric Chavez, and the count is 0-1.
He has certainly come up with some big hits for the Oakland Athletics during the last 2 months.
You're not kidding. During that stretch of 20 wins in a row. The 200th hit of the year for Miguel Tejada, a game-tying home run. Swing and a miss by Chavez, and the count is 0-2. This guy in a group of great shortstops in the American League: Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, Nomar Garciaparra, Miguel Tejada, Omar Vizquel. Blown outside, ball 1-1-2 the count. And
do you ever remember a time in one league where there was that many great shortstops?
No, Val, I can't. I really. And that position has really changed over the last 15 years because the power numbers coming out of that position. And look at Alex Rodriguez leading the league in home runs and runs batted in. Miguel Tejada now with 32 home runs, 126 runs batted in, and the other guys that we mentioned, Jeter, Garciaparra, and it really started with Cal Ripken Jr. moving from third base to shortstop.
Tejada certainly making a case for himself to be mentioned in the same breath as the big three: Garciaparra, Jeter, and Rodriguez.
Popped up and out of play on the third base side, and the count is still 2-2 on Eric Chavez. For many years it was a defensive position. Go out there, catch the ball, turn the double play, make all the routine plays. And now a lot more than that. Line foul past third base coach Ron Washington, and it's still 2-2 on Chavez. Fouled away again, and the count is still 2-2.
That last split finger by Kaza just kind of tumbled up there. Chavez put a good swing on it, fouling it straight back.
Fly ball straight away center field. Mike Cameron is there. 2 outs for the A's here in the ninth. Mariners in the bottom half of the ninth inning will send up Edgar Martinez, John Olerud, and Brett Boone. So the big bats coming up in the bottom of the ninth inning. Game tied at 2 on the home run by Miguel Tejada. Here's right fielder Jermaine Dye. Dye is 1 for 4. Right-hander Billy Koch warming up down in the Oakland bullpen. The changes the A's made during the offseason: acquiring David Justice and getting closer Billy Koch from the Toronto Blue Jays for a talented young third baseman Eric Hinske, who had a fine year in Toronto. Hinske should be the American League's Rookie of the Year. But with Eric Chavez there for the Oakland A's, they had a chance to trade Hinske and acquire a very talented closer in Billy Koch. But Val, you take a look at that Toronto Blue Jays ball club. It is a very good young team that's going to be reckoned with the next few years. Popped up and out of play on the first base side by Dye. 1-2 on Jermaine.
And third base is one of those positions. It's not always easy to develop a power hitting third baseman. And Eric Hinske having a tremendous year as a rookie up in Toronto as they continue to bolster that roster with young talent.
2 outs, nobody on. Soft line drive into left field for a base hit. Charles Gibson over to go get it to keep Dye to a 2-out single. 1 on brings up the left fielder John Mabry. So a struggle for Kazuhiro Sasaki here in the top half of the 9th inning, looking for the save. But the home run by Tejada has tied it up. Now he's trying to give the Mariners a chance to win it in the bottom half of the 9th inning. We're going to have a pinch runner for Jermaine Dye at first base. Eric Burns will go out to pinch run. So Burns out at first base for the A's. Manager Art Howe trying to pull out all the stops because he's trying to win as many games as he can to surpass the New York Yankees for the best record in the league, to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. A swing and a miss by Mabry, 0-1. So that is a very big carrot out there for the Oakland A's and the Yankees, Val.
Well, they're certainly not just looking at winning the American League West, but that is definitely something that they need to continue to fight for as this season winds down.
Moving into the on-deck circle is David Justice to bat for Mark Ellis. Should Justice get up there. A foul back by Mabry. There's a look at Justice on deck. But there's 2 outs with a go-ahead run on at first base here in the top of the 9th inning with a score even at 2. 0-2 the count on John Mabry. Swing and a miss and a splitter for strike 3 to retire the side, but the A's get a run on the home run by Miguel Tejada to tie up this game. And we go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. It's going to be Edgar Martinez, John Olerud, and Brett Boone. After 8.5, game tied. Mariners 2, the A's 2. Well, here we go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Game tied at 2-2. The Mariners trying to sweep aside the Oakland A's here at home for the first time since September of 1995. And let's go back into the time machine at the Kingdome. Tino Martinez against Dennis Eckersley. A home run to right field at the Kingdome. The Mariners win the ball game by a score of 9-8 and sweep the A's in that 3-game series. That's the last time the Mariners have taken 3 from the Oakland A's here in Seattle. And what a magical ride that was for the Mariners in 1995, because things like that happened every night down the stretch.
And it was. Tino Martinez came up with some huge hit for the Seattle Mariners in the stretch. Tino was always a money player and continued to do that with his time with the New York Yankees.
Here's Dan Wilson still with the ball club. There's Alex Diaz, who played so well in the absence of Ken Griffey Jr. when Jr. was out for 3 months with a shattered wrist. The 1995 ball club that helped save baseball in the Northwest. And what a renaissance because of that club. And now we have this ballpark, the best in baseball. Standing ovation for Edgar Martinez, who was so much a part of that magical season. When Junior was down with the injury, Edgar Martinez picked up the slack. He hit about 400 with Junior out of the lineup. And he is still here and still in a Mariner uniform. Edgar Martinez leading off the bottom of the 9th inning. The final home game here in 2002. Billy Koch, the new pitcher. Hopped up, way up behind home plate. Greg Myers off with a mask and makes the catch with 2 hands. He was charged with an error and a drop ball, making a one-handed attempt in the 7th inning. This time he went after it with 2, makes the catch, 1 out for the Mariners here in the 9th. Edgar pops it up. So Billy Koch, the closer, in for the Oakland A's with a game tied at 2-2.
And you certainly hope that that was not the last time you've seen Edgar Martinez here at Safeco Field. Billy Koch with a 10-4 record with 43 saves.
Love to see Edgar back in that familiar Mariner uniform next year. Hopefully the 2 sides will be able to work things out. The Mariners have the option on his contract for next season. John Olerud, he's a free agent at the end of the year. Fouls one away. 1-1. Mariner fans love these guys, you better believe it.
Let's mojo.
Man, we've had some mojo for the last couple of nights here at Safeco Field with the come from behind wins in the 8th inning each night against Oakland. Ball 2, 2-1.
John Olerud with another solid season. Ole with 101 RBIs, 22 home runs, and hitting .302.
Low, ball 3, 3-1. Sellout crowd, 45,822 to say goodbye to the Mariners this season.
And they're just looking for a reason to explode here this afternoon.
Mariners won the game last night on the home run by Mike Cameron. John Olerud, 22 home runs on the year, takes outside for ball 4. So John Olerud with a walk. Lou looking for a pinch runner right now. And he's going to come up with Luis Hugueto, who was aboard when Mike Cameron hit the game-winning home run last night in the 8th inning. So Hugueto out to pinch run for John Olerud. The winning run on at first base with 1 out here in the bottom half of the 9th. Welcome to Boontown, and here he is, Brett Boone, and can lightning strike twice for Brett. He hit a home run to right field in the 4th inning, followed by a Cameron home run. You've got to turn it up a notch with Billy Koch, who throws, no pun intended, 97 to 100 miles an hour. One on, one away. Boone's home run to right field in the 4th inning was his 24th of the season. Just used a short, quick stroke to get to that ball up and away and drove it out of here to right. Up and in for ball 1 on Boone. Eric Burns, the new right fielder for the Oakland A's. Game tied at 2, bottom half of the 9th. Over to first base, Hugueto gets back. Brett Boone playing much of the second half hurt with that sore heel. And Lou Piniella in his office today with the media said, what can I say about this guy except he's the ultimate professional. Plays hard every day, plays hurt, wants to stay in that lineup. Runner goes, pitch for a ball, throw to second, bounces in, Hugueto is safe. Tejada, the shortstop, cannot hang on to the throw from catcher Greg Myers. A stolen base for Luis Hugueto. The Mariners have the winning run on in scoring position as the count goes to 1-1 on Brett Boone.
Well, Koch with that big high leg kick allows Luis Hugueto to get a tremendous jump right here. Miguel Tejada, if he holds on, he may have been able to get this tag down. Can't come up with the throw as it bounces in. Tejada tries to drop down the tag, but can't hold on.
The throw bounced in, and when it did, the ball came up. Tejada had to go after it, and Ugueto was in the process of getting in under the tag of Miguel Tejada. So the winning run out at second base, 1 out. And Brett Boone with a chance to win it right here. Ugueto, good speed at second. Lou said also before the ball game tonight he was going to run Ugueto sometime in that count with Mike Cameron last night, but then Cameron just wailed into a pitch and hit a tee shot off the scoreboard in left field with what turned out to be the game-winning home run. On a hop to the second baseman. And Boone is out, so 2 outs for the Mariners here in the 9th inning, but Ugueto advances to third. Winning run just 90 feet away, and that'll bring up center fielder Mike Cameron, who had the magic last night and looking for a magical swing this afternoon. Sun shining right in, right through Safeco Field on that third base side. Out of the bat of Mike Cameron. 45,000 plus on their feet here at Safeco.
Mike Cameron in his last 4 at-bats. 4 for 4 today, 3 for 3 with a home run and 2 singles. But he's hit every one of them just right on the nose.
3 for 3 today. Fastball, strike, called, 0-1. Mike Cameron over his last 34 games is hitting .315. Prior to that, he was in that 0 for 22 slump. That's when Lou sat him down for 3 days. Had a chance for him to relax since then, hitting well over 300. The winning run at third. Fouled away, and Cameron had a cut at that pitch from Billy Koch, and the count goes to 0-2.
Billy Koch rears back and throws a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Mike Cameron right on it. This pitch is right up around the letters. Cammy swinging just underneath.
0-2 the count on Cameron. Even the sign is back from the 1995 year. Refuse to lose. And it's up and away for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And man, we had that feeling the last 2 nights here at Safeco Field. The same feeling we had in '95. The Mariners came back from 13 games behind the Angels in early August. Fouled away off the screen behind home plate, and the count is still a ball and 2 strikes on Mike Cameron. Hey, Mike, get one right there, baby.
Cammy certainly has a great following here at Safeco Field.
Fans love this guy, don't they, Val? And why not? Always with that smile, great with the fans, plays hard every day. Super job defensively in center. He's come up with some big hits along the way. Outside for ball 2. 2-2 the count. With 1 out, John Olerud walked. Ugueto went out to pinch run. The stolen base, and then the infield out by Boone sends Ugueto to third. And there's Luis waiting with 2 outs and the game tied at 2 here in the 9th. Fouled away, and a 98-mile-an-hour fastball just got underneath it. Cameron staying alive, and the count is still 2-2 on Mike.
Well, this is just power against power right here. Billy Koch just rearing back and coming after Mike Cameron. Greg Myers trying to get Billy Koch to throw that ball up in the strike zone.
Guy like Billy Koch or Arthur Rhodes that could throw 98 miles an hour really shortens up that distance between the mound and home plate. fouled away on the first base side, and the count is still 2-2.
Not a bad slider right there from Billy Koch. Mike Cameron fouling it off. This looks like he's on everything right now.
Mike Cameron hanging in there against Billy Koch. A lot of fans love Mike Cameron. This is pitch number 8 to Mike Cameron. Bounces in, knocked down by the catcher Greg Myers, and the count is full 3-2. So Greg Myers saving the day right there for the Oakland A's and manager Art Howell. Billy Koch tried to put a little bit too much on this pitch, Val.
No doubt about it. Fastball. It's one of the toughest pitches to block as a catcher because you're not anticipating the fastball being thrown in the dirt.
What an at-bat right here from Mike Cameron. Steps back in to face Billy Koch with Ugetto, the winning run at third. And it's strike 3 called on the outside corner. Tim McClellan, the home plate umpire, very deliberate with that strike call. And Mike Cameron is caught looking to end the inning. And we are going to go to the top half of the 10th tied. Mariners 2 and the A's 2. Beautiful sunset here in Seattle. Say friends, the club wants a new contract from the Sonics, but the Sonics want to wait. Weigh in with your opinion tonight at 10 on the Northwest Sports Report. Send an email to northwest@foxsports.net with your thoughts on what should happen. We'll also hear from the glove himself as he works out in the Northwest for the new season. Will the contract situation keep him out of training camp? GP talks about it tonight at 10 on the Emmy Award-winning Northwest Sports Report. Tied at 2-2 as we go to the top half of the 10th inning. New first baseman for the Mariners will be Jose Offerman. And we've got a new pitcher, right-hander Shigetoshi Hasegawa takes over in relief.
Shigetoshi with an 8-2 record, a 2.87 ERA. Having done a tremendous job in his 51 appearances.
David Justice will lead off the 10th inning as a pinch hitter. So here is Justice to face Hasegawa. No other player in history has played in more postseason games than this guy, David Justice, with the Atlanta Braves, the New York Yankees, the Cleveland Indians, and now this year his first year with the Oakland A's, going back to the playoffs. Low and outside, ball 1. Now there's a few guys like David Justice who always seem to be in the right situation, but they're a part of it. I mean, he helped those teams get to the playoffs. Then there's guys, very talented players down through the years, who never have even gotten close to postseason play.
Well, it just tells you it takes a supporting cast around you. No matter how good you are, you've got to have the other players on your team to be able to be a championship ball club.
And that was the thing that really stood out about the Mariners ball club last year. It was the team. 25 pieces of the puzzle that just fit so well together and meshed to win 116 games, a major league record. Tied the record set by the 1906 Chicago Cubs. 2-2 the count on David Justice. Ernie Banks played all those years in Chicago for the Cubs. Never made it to the World Series. Low, ball 3, full count 3-2. David Justice hitting .267, 11 home runs, and 47 runs batted in. He's thinking about the possibility of retiring at the end of the year. Low and outside for ball 4. So Justice with a leadoff walk here in the 10th. And we're going to have a pinch runner for Justice. Randy Velarde will go on and pinch run for Justice. So put Velarde on at first base. Val, you know this guy, Randy Velarde. Been around a long time, still in the big leagues at the age of what, 40?
Just a quality veteran ball player. Randy came up through the New York Yankee system, played a lot of years with Jay Buhner over there.
Velarde on at first base. Here's center fielder Terrence Long. 0-1. It was Randy Velarde that got the base hit off of Randy Johnson in Game 5 of the American League Division Series back in 1995 in the 11th inning. That gave the Yankees a 5-4 lead.
You know, it's funny that you should mention that, because Randy Velarde, along with guys like Rene Gonzalez, Bob Melvin, were guys that always just killed Randy Johnson. Randy would face some of the best hitters in the game and own them, and then you had certain guys, and Randy would know it. He, you know, you go over that lineup before. Oh no, Randy Velarde's starting today.
And that was the guy that you had to put in your crosshairs. Jeff Rabelais. A guy like Rabelais, he hit well against Randy Johnson. Mark Engelbrecht came up with that one down inside the truck. But then in the bottom half of that inning, Joey Core the bunt single, Junior the single to center field, Edgar Martinez the double down the left field line. Thank you very much. Mariners win the game 6-5 in the greatest game in Mariner history, winning the division series against the Yankees in 1995.
Looked like Velarde had thoughts of going right there. Shigetoshi almost got him leaning.
We were talking about how good the guys down in the truck have been all season long. Curtis Wilson just told me, Val, that Randy Velarde's batting average against Randy Johnson, a robust .452.
How did you know that, Curtis?
Swing and a miss by Long. 1-2 the count on the A's center fielder. That's why these guys are the best in the business. Extra innings here in the final home game of the year.
I wonder if Curtis knows what I hit off of Randy. See how quick he can come up with that one.
He'll look it up, believe me, and I'll pass that along. Ball 2, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Long. Oakland with a run in the 8th and a run in the 9th on the home run by Tejada that tied the game. The Mariners had back-to-back home runs by Brett Boone and Mike Cameron in the 4th. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Hasegawa fans Terrence Long. One away for the A's here in the 10th. And with one aboard, that'll bring up catcher Greg Myers. Myers 0 for 1, but picked up an RBI by grinding out to John Olerud in the 8th inning. That scored John Mabry from third base. Chopped off the plate, high in the air, first base side, picked up by Hasegawa, and the throw to Offerman is in time to get Greg Myers 2 outs. And on the play, Velarde gets into second base. 2-2 tie. We're in the 10th, and that'll bring up designated hitter Ray Durham.
Ray Durham 1 for 5 this afternoon with a double. It was Durham who got the first hit off of Joel Pinheiro, breaking up that no-hitter in the top of the 3rd inning.
Time called, and Wilson out to the mound. Have a talk with Hasegawa. Well, the guys down in the truck looked it up, Val, and you hit .417 against Randy Johnson.
Did I?
No, I'm lying. I just made that up. Ray Durham 1 for 5 with a double. Another guy that hit Randy was Chris Hoyles, the Orioles. Outside, ball 2-0, but I think that's about it for the list.
You know, it's funny when you mentioned that name, Chris Hoyles. I had a quick flashback of him taking Randy deep in the Kingdom. I could picture it, just boom. But you're right, there are not too many guys who can say that they owned Randy Johnson.
Ball 3-0. How about when the two mighty forces met at the Kingdom? Randy Johnson fastball with a Mark McGwire swing when Big Mac was with Oakland. Hit that home run way back into the upper deck in left center field. Outside for ball 4. Ray Durham with a walk. Second walk given up by Hasegawa. The A's have runners at first and second with 2 outs here in the 10th. Mariners are looking for their first 3-game series sweep against the A's here in Seattle since September of 1995. Here's first baseman Scott Hatteberg. 0-1.
Hatteberg with a big ball game last night, hitting a 2-run home run off of Jamie Moyer to center field to put the Athletics ahead.
1-1 on Hatteberg, who has walked twice this afternoon. He's 0 for 3. Velarde on at second base. Ray Durham at first. 2 outs. Good pitch right on the outside corner. 1-2 on Hatteberg. Well, that's what did it for the Angels this afternoon. They beat the Rangers down in Texas 10-5 to clinch their first playoff berth since 1986. Mariners were hoping for one more tomorrow to have tomorrow night's game in Anaheim have some significance to it. Low and outside, ball 2, 2-2 the count on Hatteberg.
Well, it certainly would have added quite a bit more excitement to this ball game here tonight, which started in the afternoon.
Hasegawa trying to wrap it up here in the 10th inning. The 2-2 to Hatteberg. Swung on. Line drive left field line. A fair ball in toward the corner. Randy Velarde will score. Right behind him, Ray Durham running third, heading home. He'll score. A 2-run double for Scott Hatteberg. And the Oakland A's take the lead for the first time in this game, 4-2.
Hatteberg does a nice job of staying inside his ball and slashing it down the left field line. Ball starts to rattle around the corner as Randy Velarde scoring easily from second base. Ron Washington, the third base coach for the A's, waving Ron Durham in from first base.
Hatteberg with 2 runs batted in with the 2-out double, and here is shortstop Miguel Tejada. The A's lead 4-2. It was Tejada that sent this game into extra innings with that home run in the 9th inning that tied the game at 2. One and one. Shigetoshi Hasegawa taking over in relief here in the top half of the 10th inning. The leadoff walk coming around to score. A walk to pinch hitter David Justice. Velarde went out to pinch run for Justice. And then with 2 outs, another walk to Ray Durham. So of the 4 runs for the A's in the last 3 innings, 3 walks have come around to score of their 4 runs. Line drive into the gap in left center field by Tejada. Here comes Hatteberg rounding third, and he'll score. The A's now lead 5-2. So 3 runs are in with 2 outs for the A's here in the 10th. And Miguel Tejada, who tied the game in the 9th, gives the A's a 3-run lead here in the 10th.
And giving more ammunition to the importance of Miguel Tejada and the value that he brings to the Oakland Athletics.
Pitching coach Brian Price out to the mound. What a year for Tejada. 32 home runs and 127 runs batted in. Brings up third baseman Eric Chavez. Ryan Price heading back to the dugout. Chavez 0 for 5 with a couple of strikeouts. He's grounded out twice and also flied out to Cameron in center. 0-1. Mariners winning 2 nights ago, game 1 of the series 8-7 on the 4-run bottom of the 8th inning. Willie Bloomquist an RBI double. Brett Boone an RBI double. Scott Podsednik an RBI single. Give the Mariners an 8-7 lead. Fouled away by Chavez. It was good to see those 2 kids really contribute in that win 2 nights ago. Bloomquist and Podsednik, who spent the year at AAA Tacoma.
And both those guys really making an impression here for Lou Piniella as he starts to think about next year.
Sure.
And some of the young guys that the Mariners might be able to add to their roster. And certainly Willie Bloomquist has opened up some eyes.
My goodness. 9 for 13 his last 3 starts. Fouled out of play by Eric Chavez. 2-2 the count. With Miguel Tejada on at first base and 2 outs, 3 runs in for the Athletics here in the 10th inning to break up a 2-2 tie. 2-run double with 2 outs by Scott Hatteberg, an RBI single by Miguel Tejada. Full count, 3-2. Runner goes, ground ball fair inside the bag at first and down the right field line by Chavez. Rounding third, now stopping, going down and going back to the bag at third is Miguel Tejada. The throw in by Ichiro, and in at second base with a double is Eric Chavez. Hard hit ground ball right down the line, and the A's have 2 on in scoring position.
He gets on top of this ball and wraps it around the bag at first base. Ichiro getting the carom and getting that ball in quickly to keep Miguel Tejada at third base.
So 2 on, 2 outs, 3 in. And here is new right fielder Eric Burns. This is Burns's first at bat. He got the start in last night's game, was 0 for 3. Popped up and out of play in the first base side. 0-1 on Burns. .241 hitter as you take a look at left-hander Doug Creek getting ready down in the bullpen. On the outside corner for strike 2. 0-2 the count on Burns. Rough outing for Shiggy, the leadoff walk coming around to score. Also the walk to Durham scores. Popped up and out of play, and the count is still 0-2 on Burns. When you take a look at this Oakland ball club, Val, they're going to be around for a while. They've got their top 3 pitchers signed for the next 2 and 3 years. Miguel Tejada won't become a free agent until after next season. Up and in on Burns for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
They certainly have a very strong core of young players that they have developed, many of them within their own organization. There's a big 3 right there. Hudson, Zito, and Mulder on the right.
Fouled away by Burns, loses the grip on the bat, and the count is still 1-2. The way that Art Howe wants to set up his rotation for the first round of the playoffs, it'll be Tim Hudson in game 1, and then Mulder in game 2, and Zito in game 3. That's a lot of wins right there from those 3 guys, and they're young. Drafted out of college, Hudson from Auburn, Zito from USC, and Mark Mulder, the big left-hander on the end there, from Michigan State. Hopped up behind home plate. Dan Wilson off with a mask. He might have some room. Yep, he does, and he makes a catch for out number 3, and that will finally retire the side. The Oakland A's do a lot of damage, and they get 3 runs to break up the tie. We go to the bottom of the 10th. Oakland 5 and the Mariners 2. And a special time coming up after the ball game tonight. Fox presents Mariners all-time top 10 Major League Baseball moments as picked by Mariner players, coaches, and the announcers. That's after the game right here on Fox. Here we go, bottom of the 10th inning. Randy Velarde now playing second base for the A's. A's lead by a score of 5-2. Carlos Guillen leads it off, and the count is even on Carlos at 1 ball and 1 strike. The Oakland A's 1 win away from clinching the American League West division title. Well hit into the gap in left center field. That's going to go for extra bases. Carlos heading for second. Up with the ball is Burns. The throw in, not in time. Carlos Guillen giving the Mariners a little hope here in the bottom half of the 10th inning with a double into the gap in right center field.
And Carlos gets on top of a high fastball from Billy Koch, which is not an easy thing to do, and drives it into the right center field gap. That was Carlos's 24th double of the season.
That'll bring up catcher Dan Wilson. Bottom of the 10th. A's lead 5-2 with 3 runs in the top half of the 10th inning. Coming with 2 outs. Dan Wilson 0 for 3. To face Billy Koch. Ground ball to shortstop Miguel Tejada. The throw to first is in time to get Dan, and on the play Carlos gets into third base. 1 on and 1 away. Now the A's just 2 outs away from clinching the American League West. Desi Relaford, the hitter, he's 0 for 3. A's looking for their 100th win. They won 102 games last year. Turned out to be the wild card representative as the Mariners won 116. Up and in on Relaford, ball 1. Earlier this afternoon in Texas. The Angels clinched a playoff spot with a 10-5 win over the Rangers. So the 4 teams are set now in the American League. Yankees, Twins, A's, and Angels. Ground ball to the second baseman. Randy Velarde gets Relaford at first base, and on the play, Carlos Guillen scores. An RBI for Relaford. It's now the A's 5 and the Mariners 3, but 2 outs for the Mariners here in the 10th. And the Oakland A's manager Art Howe 1 out away from a West Division title.
Art Howe thinking Ichiro may drop down a bunt, alerting his catcher Greg Myers and Eric Chavez at third base.
Here is Ichiro. Ichiro 0 for 4, trying to get aboard to bring that tying run to the plate. Scott Podsednik is due up next. Pop up down the left field line, slicing foul and out of play, up into the seats, and it's 0-1 on Ichiro. The A's will take on the Minnesota Twins. The Angels will play the Yankees in the first round. Inside on Ichiro for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ground ball to second baseman Randy Velarde. The ball game is over. The A's win it 5-3, and the Oakland A's are the champions in the American League West for 2002. The Oakland A's capture the West Division title. In 10 innings, they get 3 runs in the top half of the 10th and come from behind a 2-0 deficit to win tonight, a final score of 5-3. So the Oakland A's are the champions of the American League West, Dave Valley.
And it was Miguel Tejada, their most valuable player on this ball club, who played a big role. It was Tejada's home run who tied up the ball game. And he also added another RBI in the top of the 10th. But this is a ball club that played tremendous baseball in the second half of the season. You've got to give Art Howe a lot of credit. They've got a very strong pitching staff and a closer with over 40 saves that got the job done.
So the Oakland A's going to the playoffs with a West Division title under their belt. What a performance by this ball club. Their 100th win, and a happy guy right there, manager Art Howe, his 7th year as the skipper of the A's. So they're going to celebrate a West Division title. Earlier today, the Anaheim Angels clinched the wild card berth with a 10-5 win over the Rangers down in Texas. The Mariners played so hard to try to keep their playoffs hopes alive. 2 exciting ball games. The last 2 nights here at Safeco Field come from behind wins with rallies in the bottom of the 8th inning. But the Mariners just ran out of rope trying to get out of that hole that they dug over the last couple of months of the season. But this ball club, Dave Valley, gave it everything they had to keep their hopes alive. They were hoping to get to Anaheim tomorrow night with a game that had some significance, with being 3 games out behind the Anaheim Angels, but the Angels clinched that spot with the win today down in Texas.
Well, that's always been this part of the character of this ball club. We saw that all season last year as the Mariners went on to win 116 games. They never gave up, never gave in, had a lot of come from behind victories, and I think everybody at the ballpark, I think I felt it, you felt it, everyone out there felt the fact that this might happen. And that's why you play all the games, because in this game, this great game of baseball, you never know what's going to happen.
Yogi Berra said it best, it ain't over till it's over. Well, today the Angels wrap up a playoff spot, and the Oakland A's wrap up the West Division title. Now we've got 2 scoring summaries for you. First of all, the highlights from the Angels-Rangers game down at the ballpark in Arlington. Here is Garrett Anderson, the MVP for the Anaheim Angels this year, with his 3-run home run to break up the tie, and the Angels lead this game 6-3. What a year for Garrett Anderson.
Well, and if there's going to be a guy that's going to have a big part in the Anaheim Angels getting to the playoffs, it's going to be a Garrett Anderson, a guy that's been toiling with the Anaheim Angels for so many years and finally getting an opportunity to get into postseason play.
And another one of those guys has to be Tim Salmon. So long with this organization without an opportunity. And here he is, Tim Salmon, with a 2-run home run in the top half of the 7th inning. And that gave the Angels an 8-3 lead. And the Angels were on their way to clinching a playoff berth. Now 2 outs, bottom half of the 9th inning. Kevin Mensch against Troy Percival. Here's the final out of the ball game. Coming in, Garrett Anderson is there. He makes the catch. It's over. The Angels are in. They're going to the playoffs for the first time since 1986, and they have a chance to celebrate and pop the corks on that champagne that they've had on ice for the last 4 days because the Mariners played so very well. But the Angels are in. And here's a look at the final score in that ball game. Angels over the Rangers, 10-5. John Lackey with the win. What an addition he's been for the Anaheim Angels. Coming up from AAA Salt Lake City, he winds up the regular season with a record of 9-4. So the Angels are in the playoffs as the wild card representative, and the Oakland A's win tonight. And with the victory, their 100th win, they wrap up the American League West Division title. So here's a look at the scoring summary in this ball game between the Mariners and the Oakland A's. And the Mariners got on the board in a big way, Val. Scoreless tie, 2 outs, bottom of the 4th inning. Here's Brett Boone going the other way.
Boone takes that little short chop swing with 2 strikes on it and shoots the ball into the seats. Just so strong. What an incredible second half for Brett Boone. And then the star of the story last night becomes one of the stars here today as Mike Cameron hits another home run back-to-back after Brett Boone. Mariners will head 2-0.
But then the A's come back late in the ball game. Top half of the 8th inning. This is Greg Myers, an infield out to John Olerud. John Mabry scores on the play, and it's a 2-1 game. Now top half of the 9th inning. The Oakland A's MVP, Miguel Tejada, 1 out, nobody on. Fly ball down the right field line, tucks it into that corner. His 32nd home run of the year, and the game is tied at 2-2.
There's a guy that has come up with so many big hits for the A's down the stretch. And then Scott Hatterberg, who's been a thorn in the side of the Mariners' flesh the last couple of days, drives a double down the left field line. Randy Velarde scores along with Ray Durham from first base. The Oakland Athletics take the lead
at 4-2, and now here he is again, Miguel Tejada, with a base hit into the gap in left center field. That's going to score Scott Hatterberg, and the A's lead by a score of 5-2. The Mariners get a run in the bottom half of the 10th inning. Desi Relaford with an infield out to the second baseman, Randy Velarde, and on the play, Carlos Guillen scores from third base. He led off the inning with a double, went to third on an infield out. So the Oakland A's win it in 10 innings tonight, a final score of 5-3. But what a year for the Oakland A's, and what really propelled them to the top spot in the American League West, a 20-game winning streak, while the Mariners were really struggling in the second half against pretty much the same ball clubs. Mariners just didn't hit with runners in scoring position, and fell out of first place in the American League West.
It was that month of August, and Corey Lytle, the starter today, was really one of the keys that really got that streak going for the Oakland Athletics in August. He was a pitcher of the month. We saw him throw a nice ball game here today, but that was the one part that they just kind of accelerated past everybody else in the West, and the Mariners just couldn't come back and catch up.
Time now for tonight's Magnolia Moment, brought to you by Magnolia Hi-Fi, the most award-winning consumer electronics dealer in America. Joel Pinheiro, a nice job this afternoon for the Mariners in his final start of the 2002 season.
Well, and not only a nice job this afternoon, Joel has had a phenomenal rookie season. This guy has come on so strong for Lou Piniella and the Seattle Mariners after starting the year down in the bullpen. Joel's become one of the most consistent and reliable starters on this pitching staff. And we saw it again here today as he leaves the ball game with a 2-0 lead. Joel, great location with his fastball. He had that great curveball and the changeup that he's become so confident in. And I think that is the pitch that has really propelled him to being one of the top starters in the American League.
What a year for this 23-year-old right-hander, Joel Pinheiro. His numbers on the afternoon, 5 1/3 innings, gave up no runs, the 4 walks, the 6 strikeouts, the high pitch count, 111. So Lou went out to go get him with 1 out in the top half of the 6th inning. Mariner fans have a lot to look forward to from this young man for a long time. But a disappointing afternoon because Even before this ball game got underway, we find out that the Anaheim Angels win, so they clinch that playoff spot. But this ball club, the Mariner Ball Club, gave it everything they had to try to keep their hopes alive. So the Oakland A's win it, and they win the West today with a 10-inning, 5-3 victory over the Mariners. And right now, let's send it back out to Rich Waltz out there in center field. Rich, take it away.
All right, thank you, Rizzy. A full house here on hand at Safeco Field to watch the Mariners finish off their regular season. And you're right, the difference between last night and today was pretty compelling. Obviously, when folks were in the ballpark, they were listening on radio, they were watching the scoreboard to see if Texas could come back against Anaheim. Couldn't do it. So the season for the Mariners over. The Oakland Athletics right now are in their clubhouse, and there is champagne in there. Now, Art Howe and the A's did not celebrate when they clinched a playoff berth earlier in the week, but since they've clinched the American League West, the bubbly is open. And it was interesting to watch the difference between on-field celebrations. You just saw the Anaheim Angels, who haven't been there since '86, hooping and hollering and jumping all over the place in the ballpark in Arlington. And the Oakland Athletics, and Art Howe and the A's feel they certainly have unfinished business. Despite the great year they had last year with over 100 wins, despite getting to the playoffs 2 years ago, the A's didn't get past the first round, didn't get past the New York Yankees. And so the A's feeling that there's still unfinished business, a pretty quiet and mild celebration compared to the others in baseball, but certainly a lot to be proud of for the A's in their locker room right now. Here's your American League West standings up to the moment. Now, Anaheim 3 back. Now, the Angels theoretically can catch the A's in the standings, but since Oakland has beaten Anaheim in the head-to-head competition, that's the tiebreaker if you're in a division and you're tied at the top, and the difference is between the division title and the wild card. So if Anaheim catches Oakland on Sunday, Oakland is still the division champs because they won the head-to-head, and Anaheim has clinched the wild card. And so the Mariners finish off their regular season. In the National League West, there are still some good races. And in the Central, there's still some plot lines being played out in the National League in terms not only of playoff spots, but home field advantage. Here's some of the scores from the National League. First today, interestingly, St. Louis stays hot, 8-1. St. Louis has won 19 of their last 22, and that's important because St. Louis is going against Arizona for home field advantage if Arizona wins the West. Now, if they tie head-to-head, St. Louis has the advantage. They would be get the home field advantage in that combination there. San Diego is leading Los Angeles by a score of 1-0 in the first. The Giants have the day off. They start a series with Houston tomorrow. Remember, they have a makeup game next Monday against Atlanta if necessary. Here are the magic numbers. The Braves 1 to clinch NL home field. The Giants 2 to clinch a playoff berth. The Diamondbacks 3 to clinch the National League West. The Diamondbacks have Randy Johnson on the mound, by the way, with the Giants just 2.